ALDS.com.
In the city of rock and roll, the Indians played the Yankees like rock stars. Kenny Lofton and the Cleveland offense were in tune.
Swung on, belted. Cleveland rocks.
Backing Tribe frontman CC Sabathia.
Jeter almost sat out. Wow.
Keeping the Yankees off key all night.
No excuses tonight. We got a rear-end skid.
An encore tonight in Cleveland. Who will rock and who will roll? Game 2, Yankees, Indians, next.
Another gorgeous baseball night in Northern Ohio in this American League Division Series on TBS, presented by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Another capacity crowd at Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Game 2 of the ALDS between the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians. Good evening, everybody, along with Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn and world champion manager Bob Brenly. Chip Carey back at the ballpark. Last night, a great night for the Tribe. They grew up in a big hurry. They beat the Yankees 12-3, the final score, 4 home runs, and CC Sabathia just good enough to pick up the first win. But Tony Gwynn, yesterday is gone. Game 2 is a huge game, a swing game for both of these ball clubs. What's in store for this New York ball club tonight?
Well, the Yankees are going home for the next 2, and you definitely don't want to go home 0-2. And so this is a huge game for the Yankees, and they're throwing Andy Pettitte to the mound. 70-33 in games after a Yankee loss, and they need him to pitch well tonight. So for the Yankees, they got the right guy on the hill. They'd love to turn this thing around and go to New York even.
And Bobby, the Indians' passion, emotion, maturity, all of those things on display last night. They've got to continue to grow up against Pettitte and here at home.
Well, as much fun as it was for the Indians offense and the fans here at Jacobs Field last night, it will not be the same warm and fuzzy atmosphere at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees were 23 games over 500 at their home ballpark this year, and in the last 6 years, the Indians are 3-17 at Yankee Stadium. So a big ball game today for the Indians to try to take 2 here at home.
And 19-game winner Fausto Carmona will face the grizzled veteran Andy Pettitte. He goes for the Yankees in Game 2 tonight. It's the Tribe, it's the Yankees. Game 2 from the Jake coming up next.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is presented by Budweiser. Reach for a Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. And brought to you in part by Fidelity Investments. Smart move. By Under Armour. The advantage is undeniable. And by Lipitor.
Well, I hope you'll pardon the cliche, fellas, but it is an Indian summer evening tonight in Cleveland. Look at these weather conditions. A gorgeous night, 81 degrees, a humid night, a light breeze, partly cloudy and mild the forecast. A gorgeous night last night, even better weather conditions for Game 2 between the wild card Yankees and the Central Division winning Cleveland Indians here at Jacobs Field. This ballpark was up for grabs all night long last night. And we talked briefly, guys, in our open about the maturity of the Indians ball club and how quickly they had to grow up. Things were very ominous, it appeared, for Eric Wedge after the very first hitter of the ball game went out of the ballpark, Johnny Damon. But after that, it was all Cleveland all night.
Yeah, Sabathia really, had some trouble in the first inning, and he was able to get out of it, just giving up 1 run, and he struggled all night long. But you know what? He kept his team in the ball game. Cleveland bounced back, put 3 runs on the board in the bottom of the first, and they rolled from there.
I don't think there's any question that the Indians were hoping for better from CC Sabathia, but when your ace doesn't have his best stuff and still finds a way to keep his team in the ballpark, give their offense a chance to score some runs and win a ball game, that's all you can ask for.
And really, from the Yankees' perspective, entering Game 2 tonight, they've been here before. 1 loss is not going to ruffle their feathers. In fact, the last 5 division series openers they have lost, they've come back to win that series. And that makes the point, Bobby, you were talking about a moment ago, even more lucid tonight about Game 2 for New York.
No question about it. And you talk about expectations. I think the real pressure is on the Yankees. They have a high payroll. They have a lot of superstars. They're expected to win this series. First, they have to win a ball game. The Indians, on the other hand, are loose. They're They're young. They don't know what they're in for, especially when they get back to New York.
And they managed just 5 hits last night. And now they take on one of the best pitchers in the American League in Fausto Carmona. And a subtle change for the Yankees lineup here tonight in Game 2. Johnny Damon will lead off in left, followed by shortstop Derek Jeter. Then it's Bobby Abreu, A-Rod, Hideki Matsui flips spots with Jorge Posada. Matsui up a slot, Posada down a slot against the right-handed pitcher for the Indians. Robinson Cano, Melky Cabrera, who's continued to struggle in September and beyond, will hit 8th, and Doug Minkiewicz back in the lineup. He will play first base and bat 9th. There is a look at Fausto Carmona, one of the great stories in Major League Baseball. A failed closer last year who lost 10 games for Cleveland. Went back to the minor leagues, was converted back into his starting role, and put together a 19-win and 8-loss season and finished second to John Lackey in the AL earned run race.
And Tony, as you like to call it, the turbo sinker. It's a pitch that he can go to almost exclusively. He had a start against the Twins earlier this year when he beat Johan Santana back on May 17th. A 4-hit shutout. He threw 121 pitches in that game. 104 of them were sinkers.
And that's how difficult a pitch it is to hit. And so, you know, we talked about it last night in last night's game with Ching-Ming Wong, wanting the Indian hitters to get the ball up. Same thing for the Yankees now. They're got to be patient and try to get Carmona's fastball up in the zone so it's a little bit easier to handle.
And as we saw too, sinker ballers, if they have trouble, it's usually early. We'll see if that's the case with this Yankee lineup here tonight. A look at the Indians defense. Kenny Lofton in left. Jason Michaels playing right field against the left-hander Andy Pettit. Blake, Peralta, Cabrera, and Garco around the horn. And a battery of Victor Martinez and fireballer Fausto Carmona. A live Spanish language feed is now available via the SAP button on your television remote. And here we go. Game 2, Yankees-Indians from Cleveland. And Johnny Damon looks at a blazing strike. We're starting an hour and a half earlier tonight than last night. There is bright sunshine dappled throughout the outfield. What effect, guys, will that have on the offenses in the early innings tonight, if any?
Well, we asked Joe Torre about that before the ball game, and the Yankees coincidentally took batting practice at this time of day yesterday, and Joe said the players didn't seem to have any problem with it whatsoever.
I don't think offensively is going to be a problem, but early in the game, the right fielder is going to have his hands, you know, full with the sun, battling the sun out there.
Carmona pumps over another strike.
Wait, and this is not your standard run-of-the-mill sinker ball. He will throw it in the mid to upper 90s. He will throw an occasional four-seam fastball when he gets to a 2-strike count, try to elevate it and get the Yankee hitters to chase, but just pounding that sinker down in the zone.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Damon, who homered to lead off the game last night. He'll fly to Lofton in left to start Game 2. Not a ground ball out, but a fly ball out. First out in the first inning for Carmona.
Well, the difference being there was a 1-2 changeup, took a little speed off of it. Johnny Damon was out in front, flied out to Lofton in left field, but that sinker, that fastball is going to be a ground ball pitch. That's going to be a tough pitch for the Yankees to get in the air unless he elevates it. So if it's down in the zone, there should be a lot of ground balls tonight.
There you see Derek Jeter's season numbers and his Game 1 numbers. Against Carmona, 3-4-7 in action this year. Carmona, a no decision April 19th in a game the Yankees won 8-6, was the loser on August 10th when New York won 6-1. As we send it down to Craig Sager, our 4th member of our broadcast team today. Hi, Craig.
How you doing, Chip? Well, Derek Jeter will not make any excuses, but he's playing with an injured right knee. You can see it last night when he came to bat in the 4th inning and struck out on a cutter from Sabathia that fooled him. His right knee buckled. Now that's the same right knee he injured back in late August against the Angels. He continued to play through the injury until finally Joe Torre said, listen, you're going to have to sit out a game. He did against the Tigers. He's not going to sit out any of these games, but watch the follow through. See at the point of impact if he's able to drive through the ball.
He's down 2 quick strikes as this Indians crowd cheering lustily in the early innings tonight. Jeter will sit down in the first.
You see the movement, the late movement on that sinker. fastball looks like it's going to start right down the heart of the plate, and watch the movement in. Derek Jeter going on top of that, and that's what we're talking about with that sinker.
Now watch the reception by Victor Martinez. When you see the catcher turn his glove that way, fingers down, that means that ball has a lot of late movement.
And so 2 quick outs now, and Bobby Abreu is up. Abreu had some of the best at-bats against Sabathia last night. Waited him out for 2 walks, and then he doubled the opposite way down the third base line to drive in the 3rd and final Yankee run. And that's what the Yankees game plan would like to be, guys. Work the count again against Carmona. The difference is between Sabathia and Carmona's first inning tonight, strike 1 and strike 2.
That's exactly right. And you know, when you throw ball 1, that works right into the Yankee plan. But when you throw strike 1, hitters are going to have to be a little more aggressive.
And here he is again, 0-2 to Bobby Abreu. One ball, 2 strikes. Las Diaz, by the way, will be the home plate umpire tonight. Ron Culpa, Field and Culbreth, Jim Wolf along the infield, Bruce Fremming in left, Jerry Davis the ump in right. And the 1-2. Little dribbler. And Fausto is through his first canto. 3 up, 3 down, top of the 1st in Cleveland. The Yankees retired in order in the top of the 1st. Here comes Cleveland for manager Eric Wedge. Grady Sizemore leads off in center. Then Asdrubal Cabrera bats and plays second. Travis Hafner, Victor Martinez, Ryan Garko all had big nights last night. Johnny Peralta's the shortstop. Kenny Lofton, the grizzled veteran in left. Jason Michaels into the game to play right. And Casey Blake bats ninth over at third base against the Yankees' biggest big game pitcher, Andy Pettitte, here in game 2 tonight.
See Andy's numbers. The challenge for the Indians tonight will be, because Andy Pettitte is not an overpowering guy, not a heavy, not a power guy. Fastball 90 to 91, good cutter, good changeup, good breaking ball. And so the key for the Indians tonight will be staying back.
Right back where it came from.
I was going to say staying back, just like letting the ball come to them. And you see Grady Sizemore got a pitch up in the zone, went right back up the middle with it.
And not surprising to see some lefties in the lineup for Eric Wedge against Andy Pettitte. Lefties have actually hit for a higher average this season against the Yankee left-hander, and Grady Sizemore goes right back up the middle of the field for the first base hit of the game.
And you know, guys, the Indians would love to get their running game going early against Pettitte, but that's a whole lot easier said than done with the combination of Pettitte and Posada.
No question. Pettitte's got a great move to first. We saw last night Posada come out of the chute, throw Sizemore out.
So the Indians play small ball here and show bunt with Cabrera. That crossed up Posada. And now Jorge wants to go out and talk about it. Pettitte with 72 lifetime pickoff moves. And as we saw last night, guys, Posada and Victor Martinez both showed cannon arms in throwing out a would-be base stealer.
Yeah, Jorge Posada threw out Sizemore in the second inning, and for Victor Martinez, he threw out Robinson Cano in the second inning as well. Kenny Lofton did steal a base later in the ballgame, but that was off of the pitcher Ohlendorf. He just took off and stole the base without a throw.
Well, last night, Grady Sizemore looked like he got a great jump, too, and Posada came out of the chute and threw him out relatively easy.
Ground ball double play chance for the Yankees. 4 and a 6-3. And Cabrera, for the second straight game, rolls into a first inning double play. So Pettitte erases the bags, now goes to work with Travis Hafner, and 2 men out.
This job there by Pettitte. Got the ground ball he was looking for.
Very similar to the way the ball game started last night. Sizemore was hit by a pitch to start the ball game, but then Cabrera promptly hit into a double play, and Eric Wedge said the biggest at bat of the ball game was Travis Hafner's at bat in the first inning last night. After the couple of quick outs, the Yankees defense was forced to stand out there on the field, and Wong had to throw a lot of pitches. Hafner drew a walk, then Martinez singled, Garco singled, another walk to Peralta, a base hit by Kenny Lofton. So talk about patience and working counts, seeing a lot of pitches.
Pettit peers over the top of that glove and fires another strike to Travis Hafner. 0-2. Here's the count.
That last pitch looked like that cutter, and that one had some downward movement to it. Hafner went right over the top of it, and so Andy Pettit creates a different kind of challenge than the one these Indian hitters faced last night.
Outfield straightaway, very deep for Hafner, who hit 24 homers in the regular season. And he fought off a tough pitch there to stay alive. Hafner last night 1 for 4. He hit a solo shot in the 6th inning and scored a couple of Indians runs. Inside corner, called third strike. So Andy Pettit answers with a 0 himself, and we move to a scoreless second. Scoreless game. What a year for Alex Rodriguez. What a year indeed. 54 homers, 156 driven in. But it's a new season, and it has not been a very fun ride in postseason play as he pops up for the 3rd time in this series. Cabrera in shallow right takes care of A-Rod, who has been very anxious, swinging early in the count. 0 for 3 with a couple of walks. One of those walks intentional. Yeah, and you're right. 2 of the 3 outs that he's made, he swung at the first pitch. He's popped it up, and again, I don't sense any pressure here. It's nice loosey-goosey swing, just a little bit out in front of it, and Carmona took a little bit off of it, and he's out in front and gets the pop-up. So A-Rod retired. Quickly 1 out in the 2nd, and Hideki Matsui moves into the batter's box. He moves up a spot in the order with a right-hander on the mound, and Matsui 0 for 4 in the series opener here last night. Matsui relegated for the most part to designated hitter duties for this series and perhaps beyond for New York if the Yankees can advance past Cleveland. He had his right knee drained the final week of the regular season, and it still is troublesome for him to play in the outfield. And because of that, they then have to keep Jason Giambi on the bench. Matsui looks outside, even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tony, Bob, Chip, we're in Cleveland. Had a very good pitching start for both clubs. Pretty much what we expected tonight.
Yeah, maybe a little more of a question mark for Carmona because it is his first postseason start. He's just a kid, but doesn't look to be rattled whatsoever in the early going here.
All right, you got nice downward action on his pitches. Ball is running and sinking. Pitching looking like with a lot of confidence right now. And so you got 2 guys on the hill. From the first inning, you expect them to be successful tonight. You expect this to be a pitcher's game.
And Carmona on an unbelievable roll. Undefeated in September, went a perfect 5-0. And he's got Matsui set up, looking for his 2nd strikeout. And he just missed a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, the story about Cabrera for the Cleveland team defensively at 2nd. Great pickup. This guy on the mound, Carmona, also a great pickup by the Indians. They've done such a great job of signing undrafted free agents. They've made very astute trades, but they've also really done a wonderful job of evaluating their own talent. Last year, Carmona was the Indians' closer when they traded Bob Wickman to Atlanta. He was 1-10 and had arguably the worst week as a closer you could possibly have. 3 blown saves and 4 losses. As he walks Matsui, for the first Yankee base runner. Jorge Posada's coming up.
Last night I felt like Jorge Posada had a huge at bat. He had the bases loaded. Joe Torre green lighted him on a 3-0 pitch. And that's a ball he's handled all year long. Maybe he tried to pull it, or maybe Sabathia had a lot on it and it couldn't do what he wanted to do. But 3-0 last night. Joe green lights him. He had a cookie. He fouled it off. He ended up striking out. And I think it was a huge at bat last night, because if he puts that ball in play and maybe ties this game up, maybe it's a different ball game last night.
And you see the big bats hitless last night for New York. Runner at first, one out, Posada, and he takes high, 1 ball, no strikes.
Tony, how do you feel about that 3-0 swing away right there? Obviously, they had Sabathia in a very vulnerable position, to take one side of the argument. If he takes that pitch, even if it's a strike, Sabathia's got to throw him another strike.
Yeah, but I think Joe Torre has enough faith in his guys that 3-0, he's gonna be able to pick out a good pitch to hack. And really, that's a ball that was elevated. That's a ball up. That's a ball that you want to take a whack at. And because you feel like 3-1, if it's out of the zone, he's smart enough not to swing it.
Well, there's no question that after Sabathia took care of Posada, that was a huge second win for him, because Matsui then popped out. The Yankees settled for 1 run in that 5th inning with the bases loaded. They still trailed, and then the Indians exploded for 5 in their half. From that point in time, the game was pretty much in the books for the Cleveland club. Off his thumbs, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Posada.
You just feel like, though, that these Yankee hitters are going to figure out a way to get something going. And even though there's a lot of movement, even though the ball's got some sink and some run, Yankee hitters already tonight taking some pretty good hacks.
1-2. Fights off another tough pitch.
Chip, I touched on it last night. I'm going to bring it up again tonight. I think Jorge Posada is probably the most underrated Yankee in recent memory. I mean, when you look at his career average, an average season for Posada, 277 batting average, 25 homers, 97 RBIs, 87 walks, and 84 runs scored. You'd be tough pressed to find another catcher in baseball history that's had a run like that.
Just off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And there's no doubt the Yankee pitching staff appreciates what he does behind the plate to get them through ball games, and certainly a lot of marquee names on these Yankee teams over the last 8 or 10 years. But Posada, the guy that just shows up and gets it done every day.
He might be more valuable to them defensively too. I mean, offensively, he's done nothing but put numbers up. But handling that pitching staff day in and day out, that's a huge thing too.
That ball got away from Martinez. Posada was trying to wave Matsui over to second, but that leg may not have allowed him to do that. And the count full now. As you see, Jeter and Posada, along with Alex Rodriguez. 3 massive years for New York.
Better numbers across the board for Posada. That's not to take anything away from Derek Jeter at all, but just to give you a basis of how good Posada has been.
Double play ball. Posada, blessed with catcher's speed, is retired. There's that ground ball. 33rd double play induced by Carmona, and we remain scoreless. Our aerial coverage is provided to you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's silent armor technology. Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Gorgeous night for Game 2 of our American League Division Series. No score, with the Indians coming up with Victor Martinez, Ryan Garco, and Johnny Peralta against Yankee left-hander Andy Pettitte. Martinez, a gigantic night last night. 3 hits and 5 tries, including a home run. And like the man that works behind him in the Yankees catching gear, Victor Martinez can switch it as well.
Well, all those numbers we mentioned for Jorge Posada over the course of his career, I believe Victor Martinez is going to be right there in the same neighborhood when he gets to the same stage in his career. Tremendous offensive player at his position.
He moved the ball around last night. A base hit to right, home run to right center, double to left down the left field line. And tonight switching over to the right-hand side.
Headed back to work with a 2-0. And pumped it over. 2-1 your count. Martinez doesn't strike out much. He'll take a base on balls too. Puts it in play with power. And some say he might be the MVP of this Cleveland club. A great guy in the locker room, a leader of the staff. And he pops it up a mile high center of the diamond. Foul ground. Posada drifts, makes the catch, and Craig Sager's got a special guest. Craig?
Yeah, last night we talked to the King James. Tonight's the Queen Latifah. An early pitching duel set up by her ceremonial first pitch. He threw a strike from 60 feet 6 inches. You prepare for this?
Yeah, you know, I just practiced maybe 2-3 times, and I was ready to go.
Obviously, I know you're a big baseball fan. What surprised you so much about these playoffs?
That Colorado Rockies game the other day, that was just like the most unbelievable game. And then when Holiday slid into home plate and gave himself the chin, yeah, that's now called the Holiday. And
Tonight,
kind of looked cool the next day, all bruised up like that.
And he came through again yesterday. Talk a little bit about this matchup. I know you're performing here at the Lyric Opera House in Cleveland. Are you an Indians fan?
You know, I've been a good friend of Kenny Lofton's for a while, so I guess I am an Indians fan, but because of the movies, and Cleveland seems like a good town. It's always been good to me on the road, so I guess I would be to a degree, but not when they're playing the Yankees. I'm sorry. I'm more of a Yankees fan than I am an Indians fan.
Well, unlike LeBron, at least you had the common sense not to wear a Yankee hat, and you got your neutral
I
pick.
have respect. You know, you don't come into someone else's house disrespecting them. So I wore pink. It's true. Queen loves the Yankees, but it's you know, breast cancer awareness month. So I figured I'd wear pink.
All right, well, you're looking good tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
All right, Craig, and speaking of looking good, we had the King last night. We have the Queen tonight. I think Craig got that outfit from Prince.
Whoa, looked like they came straight from an Easter egg hunt.
3 balls, no strikes. Little tapper, 3-0 count. They let Garco swing, and Derek Jeter makes the play, 2 out.
Wow, those are some puppies right there. I think they got their clothes out of the same closet this morning. So we were down in Eric Wedge's office before the ball game. As you guys well know, he has a calendar with the Duke, John Wayne.
Yeah.
And Craig said how much he admired John Wayne. I said, I don't think I ever saw the Duke wearing lilac shoes.
That just doesn't fit, does it?
Not at all.
Here's Johnny Peralta with 2 outs, bases clear. Peralta 1 for 4 last night. He doubled and scored in that 5-run 5th last evening. Pettit outside, and Andy Pettit giving the Yankees exactly what they hope to get from him tonight. A stabilizing force in their rotation, a big game pitcher. Joe Torre said something to us about Pettit I'd never heard a manager before. He's one of those pitchers, Torre said, you give the ball to and you don't worry about a thing. How about that high praise?
Well, I think we saw that on that 3-0 pitch to Garco. Garco was gearing up thinking he was going to get something in the middle of the plate, and he changed speeds on him. He was out in front and he got a ground out on a 3-0 pitch. So you know, he's been in these big games before. He knows how to handle these situations.
But both of you guys either manage or have managed. You manage at San Diego State. You manage the Diamondbacks. You didn't have a non-worrying situation ever, did you?
Well, there's always something to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I think it's interesting here. Posada with nobody on base has been going through a series of signs. Normally with nobody on base, you just hang down a finger or fingers depending on what pitch you want to call. But Posada going through a series, and usually that's an indicator to me that there's a little paranoia that perhaps somebody is out there peering in toward home plate trying to steal the signs from the opposing catcher.
3 balls and a strike.
Not accusing anybody of anything, but it just seems odd that Posada would take the trouble to go through a series of signs with nobody at second base.
Home run cut, full count. Pettit's popping that fastball at 92.
Yeah, he's getting a fastball up there, and like we said, he's going to change speeds, change angles. From a hitter's perspective, you see him looking in at the sign. That's all he's focusing in. He's not looking at the hitter or anything. He's focusing in on Jose Posada's glove.
But he walks Johnny Peralta. First walk of the night for Pettit. And here comes last night's hero, Kenny Lofton. Lofton drove in 4, all of them with 2 outs, and listen to his reception.
Last night he was huge. That first inning, 2-out knock up the middle to drive in 2 runs gives Indians a 3-1 lead in the first inning. And boy, he did that all night last night.
Eric Wedge saying before the game that with the night that Kenny Lofton had, he had to play him in this game tonight. Ordinarily, you'd have Michaels in left, Gutierrez in right, but he wanted to reward Lofton for a huge night last night. Problem is, Andy Pettit, guys, has really had great luck against Kenny Lofton.
Yeah. Coming into this game, Lofton's 4 for 32 against Pettit. And you see this big breaking ball. Kenny Lofton might have thought that ball was inside a little bit, but Kenny Lofton not playing every day anymore.
0-2.
You know, having to get used to facing a ball going away from you instead of coming in. You know, he's basically playing a lot more against right-handers than he is against left-handers. And with those career numbers, 4 for 32. Wedge depending on him to just go up to the plate and try to put the bat on the ball.
We're talking about Kenny Lofton's 3 hits in the ball game yesterday. Tony, you know how important this is. All 3 came with 2 outs in the inning. Those are really demoralizing for that ball club out there on the field. You're 1 out away from escaping trouble, and then Kenny Lofton comes through 3 times with 2 outs.
Can he come through in his first 2-out situation tonight in a scoreless game? And now Pettit and Posada want to make sure they're on the same page here.
And as I said last night, sometimes with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, you're having to face a guy like Kenny Lofton is the last type of guy you want to face, because he's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's not trying to force the issue. He's just going to take whatever you give him and try to put the bat on the ball, and wherever it goes, it goes. And Kenny had 3 great at-bats, short strokes, bounced 2 of them up the middle, 1 of them in the left field, and you know what? That's what contact guys do. He's just trying to put the bat on the ball.
First look at that Pettit pickoff move.
Pettit picked off Peralta earlier this year on August 12th to kill an Indians rally. The bases were loaded with nobody out. After the pickoff, they ended up with runners at second and third. Got out of the inning. They only scored 1 run with the bases loaded, nobody out.
A very short lead as Lofton throws the bat at the ball. Pettit comes pirouetting off the mound. And Kenny stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Emergency swing.
That's what I was going to say. This is just an emergency hack right here by Kenny Lofton. He just throws the bat at this. Not trying to hit Andy Pettit at all. He's just trying to stay alive, hoping that he can foul that pitch off and get something better. But see the barrel go flying out, and Andy Pettit does a nice job of getting out of the way of it.
Oh, some guys have a knack for that. Bill Buckner, the former Red Sox, former Cub, was one of the best I ever saw at fighting off 2 strikes pitch by just throwing his bat at it, get a piece of it.
Runner goes, good jump, pitch inside. Posada's throw is late. What a jump by Peralta. He had 3-4 steps before Pettit released the baseball. An easy steal.
Well, that's one of those with 2 strikes on Lofton. You take your shot. First move, Peralta gets a great jump. Pitches inside, and you see him steal that bag pretty easily. If Posada was able to throw him out, you got Kenny Lofton leading off your inning.
But he spoils another 2-strike pitch.
And Peralta set that up pretty well. He had shortened up his lead and then broke on first movement. As a pitcher, you take your set position out there, you look over and you see the guy only has a step and a half or 2 steps of a lead off. You figure he's not going anywhere. And Peralta shortened his lead and then took off on first movement.
And so Lofton here in game 2. First RBI chance for the Indians. Again, 4 RBIs for him last night with 2 outs. Fly ball, base hit, left center field. Here comes Peralta around third. Cabrera's throw to the plate. He is in plenty of time. And Cabrera, who threw out 16 men this year, guns down Peralta and keeps this game scoreless after 2. This American League Division Series on TBS presented by Budweiser, official beer of Major League Baseball. And guys, the Yankees turn in the first defensive gem of this game and keep it scoreless heading to the 3rd. A Kenny Lofton single. But Melky Cabrera with 16 regular season assists, 14 of them from center field, throws out Johnny Peralta easily to retire the side, and that sends it to the Yankees 3rd. And Robinson Cano will start it off. Cano homer that you saw graphically came in the Yankees' 4th inning and cut the Cleveland lead in half. It was a 4-2 game after he hit his 2-out solo shot.
That was a line drive. It just got over the wall in right field, but left the bat. Cabrera, who was out in right field last night, or Gutierrez in right field last night, thought he could make a play and he got out of the park.
2 balls and a strike now to second baseman Robinson Cano. Carmona burying that sinker in the early innings. That was the question. Would he suffer the same fate as Chien-Ming Wang last night? So far, that has not been the case. There's another ground ball. Nice play at second. Throw to first in time. As Dribble Cabrera shows his range at second. 1 out.
Take a look at that play in center field. You see Peralta on the secondary lead, bounces out there pretty good. And Melky Cabrera gets to this ball quickly and makes a strong throw to the plate. Posada able to catch the ball in plenty of time to block off the plate. Nice catch, nice play all the way around. Cabrera, nice throw. Posada, nice catch of a short hop and a block of the plate.
Now, that wasn't an easy catch at home plate. That ball had some velocity. Really, you could see it skipping off that infield grass, but Posada stayed with it nicely and applied the tag.
Yep.
So we are scoreless. And Melky Cabrera is up. Yankees need to get this guy going. He had 18 hits and 100 September at bats. Went 0 for 4 last night. And Joe Torre said in our meeting, hey, we've got to get these young kids going at the plate in this series. And that applies to Cabrera.
Well, both Cabreras, when you think about it, are the Energizer bunnies of these ball clubs. The Indian second baseman Cabrera gave this team a shot of energy when they needed it at the end of the season, and Joe Torre talked about Melky Cabrera filling the same role with this Yankees ball club. Of course, you have to get on base to make that happen.
Yeah, you got to find a way to get on base. Doesn't necessarily have to be with a hit, but just being able to get on base and try to make something happen.
Outfield shades him toward left. And that ball darting down and away from him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was a great angle to see that. 2-1. Cabrera looking for something middle of the plate, and that ball ran away from him.
That one fouled at the plate.
Now, when you see that index finger come down from Victor Martinez and he wiggles it around, that's the sign for the sinker ball. If he happens to put the 1 down and keeps it in place or uses his pinky finger to hang a 1 down, that's going to be the 4-seam fastball. But you're going to see a lot more wiggling fingers than anything else.
And when that sinker's right, it's almost untouchable.
Slider.
Swung on and belted down the right field line. How far's that one going to go? 1-0 Yankees. Melky Cabrera has gotten going. New York 1, Cleveland nothing.
After a series of sinker balls, I think Carmona thought he had him set up for that slider down and in. Unfortunately for the Indians, he left it over the inside part of the plate where Cabrera could get the head of the bat on it.
You see him clear that front side out, and he gets the barrel of the bat to the baseball. Nice position right there. And he drove that ball a long way into the Yankee bullpen.
So the Yankees have their second one-run lead of the series. And Doug Midkiewicz, the first baseman, is up with one man out. Midkiewicz involved in a freak accident before the game yesterday. A cameraman tripped over Minkiewicz's leg before the ball game. And Doug was in the trainer's room for a long time. Actually came out and did some agility drills just to make sure that that surgically repaired ankle was going to be all right. He was only able to make one at-bat in the game before giving way to Shelley Duncan.
And on a related note, if you're looking for a freelance photographer, I know where there's one that's looking for a job right now.
A little flare, broken bat shot to center. Grady Sizemore will track that down. Minkiewiczz is out, number 2. But fortunately, Minkiewiczz obviously able to go tonight. No ill effects from that accident yesterday. Here's Damon. Johnny Damon flied out to left. Yankees 1, Indians nothing.
Well, you could hear the pop of that glove all the way up here. Just
ball 1, strike 1 to the Yankees leadoff man, Johnny Damon. Now Carmona, 1 strike away from turning things back over to the Indians offense.
mistake with that slider to Cabrera, and since then he's come back and seems to have gotten his house back in order. That sink is sinking.
And he gets a sinker tapped right back to him. A solo home run from Melky Cabrera gives the Yankees an early lead, 1-0 in the middle of our third. Beautiful night in Cleveland. Yankees off to an early lead with Jason Michaels starting for Cleveland here in the third. First postseason at bat for Michaels here tonight. And he's had good luck against Pettit. 3 hits and 8 tries. The Sunfield is now moved from right to center. Melky Cabrera bathed in that bright sunshine. And as you see, high up above Jacobs Field. Another half hour or so, and the glare should not be an issue for the defensive players. And Pettit gets a strike over, 2 balls and a strike to count.
Yeah, the outfielders will be happy. Cabrera out in the sun. Johnny Damon getting a little bit of the shadows. Bobby Abreu now completely in the shade.
Line drive right field. Michaels continues his good work against Pettit, and that ball sticks in the chain link fence. An easy double. Take him the other way, fellas.
Nice piece of hitting there by Michaels. Yeah, got something out over the plate. The ball stayed up too, and he goes right with it, and And normally when a ball sticks into the fence like that, the arms go up. It's a ground rule double.
I saw you throw your arms up here in the booth.
Bobby Abreu taking no chances. He just pulls this ball right out of the fence, gets it back in.
Yeah, which in my eyes is a mistake, because if that ball's lodged in there so badly you can't get it loose with the first effort, Michaels probably ends up on third base. I mean, the grounds rules are there to protect the outfielders in those situations.
Here's Casey Blake. His job, get Michaels to third here with nobody out. Blake 1 for 4, drove in 2 last night, and 1 for 5 against Pettit. He does hit the ball to the right side. Robinson Cano will make the play. Good at bat for Blake. Runner third with 1 out. Grady Sizemore coming up. And speaking of coming up, game 2 from Fenway Park. The LA Angels of Anaheim and the Red Sox coming up at the conclusion of our Yankees-Indians game 2 in Cleveland. Another big swing game. The Angels were dominated by Josh Beckett in game 1. They'll have Vladimir Guerrero in the outfield for game 2 and facing Daisuke Matsuzaka of the Red Sox.
Which for LA is not going to be easy either.
So a world of options for the Indians here with RBI machine Grady Sizemore. And 1 out. Runner at third. And a fast strike at the knees.
I think he's kind of playing this halfway on the right side. Cano and Minkiewicz on the right side. Jeter's regular depth is short. A-Rod's creeping in at third. Sizemore 74 RBIs as leadoff man, most in the AL.
Ground ball right side. Minkiewicz with that great glove makes the play and applies the tag. Only 2 errors all year for Minkiewicz at first, and he made a tough play. Looked very, very easy. Now there are 2 out with a man at third.
And for me, the key to this play is he comes in and makes the tag. He froze the runner at third base immediately when he caught the ball. A lot of first basemen then would turn and go back to the bag, running away from a possible play at home plate. But watch Minkiewicz make this play, freeze the runner at third, and then runs in with the runner in his peripheral vision the whole time. That's a smart play by a veteran defending first baseman.
That's a gold glove play right there. And you're right. He made a great decision coming in to get that ball, checking that runner at third, making sure he didn't go anywhere. You see his career fielding percentage, and he made that play look easy. You're right. He backhanded and made a nice play.
A pitch low to his dribble. Cabrera hit to a double play. His first time up, and guys, Andy Pettit doing what he just seemingly does. He's unflappable on the mound. He's had 2 leadoff men on in this game. Got a double play ground out. Michaels double to start the frame. The Indians can't get the ball out of the infield yet. He still leads by a run.
Right now, Pettit's making the kind of pitches he needs to make. He knew Blake was trying to hit the ball to the right side, and he got in on him. Blake did a nice job of just working that ball to the right side, getting his runner over to third. And he makes a good pitch to Sizemore, and now he's making good pitches to Cabrera here.
Missed the corner inside. 2 balls and a strike.
How about Ron Guidry's advice to Pettit last night when he left the ballpark? He wasn't talking about his mechanics or the lineup for the Indians or anything like that. He just told him, go home, get some sleep, and make sure you put the remote control in your right hand. Change channels with your right hand. That's good coaching right there.
2-1 pitch. Now it's 2-2. Posada even points at Pettit after he caught that ball. Count evens.
Well, that's that positive reinforcement. You see catchers do that a lot when a pitcher executes the pitch exactly the way you hope he does. Posada says, attaboy, right where I want it.
Angle, the steepness of that breaking ball right there.
Then he nibbles and misses the outside corner. Inside, now out. Now it's 3-2.
That was the same pitch to two different locations. The first one down and in. That one he tried to throw to the back door.
I think he really wanted that pitch. I think he felt like he made a good pitch there. One that he thought Cabrera would possibly swing at, and he doesn't get the call.
Strike three over the outside corner. Indians get a leadoff double and cannot tie the game. Andy Pettit leads 1-0 after 3.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American revolution, and by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Derek Jeter leads off the Yankees' 4th. New York leads 1-0. And a laser right back up the middle.
Derek Jeter showing his versatility, getting his first hit of the series. And Jeter's a guy that uses the whole field. You saw him go up the middle on that ball, got a fastball. Out over the plate, takes it up the middle, and you see his hit distribution. Pretty spread out, which is what you'd like to see. You'd like to see guys using the whole field, and those numbers, I think, kind of indicate, exactly what kind of hitter Derek Jeter is. He's a guy that's going to use the whole field and spray the ball around.
Which really serves him well at Yankee Stadium with that short porch in right field. Usually it's left-handed hitters that take advantage of that, but we've seen Jeter hit a lot of opposite field home runs at Yankee Stadium.
151 postseason hits for Derek Jeter as he leads from first in the 4th inning. Here's Abreu. He tapped a sinker right back to Fausto Carmona. That ended the top half of the 1st inning tonight. And that's in for a strike. Are you guys surprised that Carmona went to that slider with Cabrera up?
I was a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no question his sinker's his best pitch. If you ask people around the ball club, they would say his changeup is his 2nd best pitch. And the old rule is don't get beat with your 3rd best pitch. And that was a pitch that gave him an opportunity to pull the ball.
Hit and run on diving play. Garco at first, and he'll step on the bag. That saved 90 feet on the base pass. Excellent play to Rob Abreu. Jeter, though, moves up 90 feet with 1 out.
That's a huge play by Garco, because I believe this is hit and run. And you see him bounce off that bag, and he stretches out and catches that ball and gets the out at first base, because you're right, if that ball gets through, Jeter's going to be able to get all the way to 3rd, and I think the Yankees have made up their mind they needed to get something going, get some movement.
So here's Alex Rodriguez, really his first big at bat in this postseason. He is hitless 0 for 3 with a couple of walks. A-Rod 4 for his last 44 in postseason play.
To me, this is one of those opportunities. You got first base open over there. And you can be careful to how you pitch to him. You can make pitches to see if he's a little bit anxious up there.
Alex absolutely destroyed Cleveland pitching this year. Hit 6 home runs against the Indians. One of them came against Carmona.
And so far, Alex is being very patient. Trying to wait for something in the zone that he can handle, and Carmona on the other end is, busted him in one time with a fastball, gone away with that sinker.
2 balls, no strikes.
Good sinker there by Carmona. 2-0.
A-Rod hit homer number 501 against Carmona August 10th. A game won by Philip Hughes, his first major league win for the Yankees. And an off-speed pitch had him way out in front. Nice differential. 3 straight 96-mile-an-hour tosses. That one in at 86.
Boy, the arm action really sells it. A-Rod thinks that's a sinker all the way. Has the same movement as the sinker, but about 10 miles an hour slower.
You saw he was way out in front of that.
Got him. Didn't go with a slider, did he, boys?
No, he went with his two best pitches. The first pitch of the sequence was a sinker down and in, as Tony mentioned just a moment ago, hoping to get a ground ball quickly. Misses just off the inside corner, goes away with another sinker. Watch how Martinez just sets up in the middle of the plate. That was the changeup down low. Comes back with another hard power sinker in the mid-90s. I mentioned Martinez because with a lot of pitchers, you want your catcher to move out on the corners to try to lead the pitcher to the location where you want the ball. Carmona's pitches move so much, Martinez usually just sits right down the middle of the plate.
And there are plenty of great players, guys, that have had trouble with Carmona in his young career. Torrey Hunter said after the Twins played the Indians, quote, "I can't wait until we face normal pitchers. His sinker is practically unhittable." How about that? Torrey Hunter says a normal pitcher.
I've never seen this kind of sinker thrown this hard with that much movement. I mean, he's getting it up there 94, 95, 96 miles an hour with a downward type of movement that and then backing that up with a straight change at 86. A lot of guys in the big leagues, that's their fastball. 86.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. It's a rare combination. Some guys can throw 95, but it's straight as a string. Other guys have to throw 82 or 83 to get that kind of movement. He's got both.
I think a lot of guys, most guys now, to get that kind of movement, have to take a little bit off the fastball. You know, you're throwing fastballs in the, you know, the 88, 89, 90 range, but you know, he's revving it up at 94, 95 miles an hour with that much movement. Of course, he's going to be a very difficult guy to square up.
Jeter at second with 2 outs. Hideki Matsui, a 2-1 count. High chopper, play at first for Garco, and he will make it himself. Garco might have saved a run with a great defensive stop off the bat of Bobby Abreu. 1-0. Middle of the fourth. Well, you know the guy that does that killer John Madden impersonation on NFL Sunday? His name is Frank Caliendo. He has a new show that will literally change the face of late night. See the all-new comedy Frank TV coming November 20th to TBS. Fourth inning, 1-0 New York. It'll be Hafner, Martinez, and Garco for the Tribe. And Pettit with a changeup in for a strike call. Hafner took strike 3 to end the first. Pettit has 2 strikeouts tonight. And Bobby, you made the point last night talking about the evolution of this Cleveland franchise. Most of their players are from their system. Same can be said for their major league staff. And we'll chat with Derek Shelton, the Indians hitting coach, in just a moment. Line drive center field. Cabrera can't get that. Leadoff man on for the 3rd time for the Indians down a run. Derek Shelton, the hitting coach, has a very special group with which to work.
Yeah, they are a special group. You know, we're very lucky in how our organization's built and the chance that, you know, I got a chance to be with some of these guys in the minor leagues. And, you know, development's very important for the Indians, and you're seeing it as some of these guys have got to the big league level. Yeah,
Derek, in your career, you were a player with the Yankee organization. What did you learn when your time with the Yankees that maybe you brought to the table here with the Indians?
Well, I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to start my career with the Yankees and to be around some good people. So, you know, I've tried to pick tidbits up everywhere I've been, and you know, I got my first opportunity there, but it's exciting to be here, and it's exciting to be in the playoffs.
It's impressive to watch your young hitters use the whole diamond. And in this series, the first 2 games, they've done a great job of that.
Yeah, it's something that, you know, we think is important, and I think, you know, Tony, you well know that all good hitters do it. So it's something we stress probably from rookie ball in the Dominican all the way through, and we try to keep our system pretty consistent. But it's something that, you know, we focus on, we work on it every day, and, you know, we've done a real good job of it.
Derek, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Again, our thanks to Derek Shelton. Indians try to tie this game or take the lead with Victor Martinez up, and he takes low. Guys, Bobby, you've managed in the major leagues. Tony, you're in player development, albeit in the college ranks. How important is that word consistency that Shelton used starting in the Dominican Republic all the way up through to AAA and again in Cleveland?
Well, I think it's a goal for any organization. You'd like to have consistency with your pitching philosophy. You'd like to have consistency with your hitting philosophy. So as guys are coming through the minor league system, they're learning what they need to know to be successful at the major league level.
I totally agree with that.
Hard hit ball foul. I mean, when you get to the major league level, there's still so much teaching that has to take place. But do you really have time to teach the way you'd like to have them taught in the minor leagues?
Well, sometimes you have to make the time. Ideally, guys arrive as a finished product ready to go.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case in the game nowadays. We see it happen all the time. Guys get rushed to the major leagues because of their tools. Guys can throw the ball, they can hit the ball, they can pitch, whatever the case may be, but there are still some fine points of the game that make you a winning team that they have to learn after they get to the major league level.
And so, yeah, in the minor leagues, they learn the Cleveland Indian way. This is the way this organization is going to do it. And they learn it from, rookie ball right on up to the big leagues. And once they get here, it's about learning the little nuances of the game as far as the big league game is concerned. The basic things they expect you to know.
Downstairs, Craig Sager, you have a thought?
Yeah, you're talking about that consistency that Derek Shelton was talking about in the Dominican Republic and rookie ball. He also set up a terminology. It didn't matter what language you spoke, everything was the same. When you're getting ready, it's called the load. When you get up to your stance, it's called the setup. And then, of course, the swing path and the finish. And those 4 words are used no matter what language you come from or whatever you speak. And that's part of the consistency he was talking about.
Great idea.
Yep.
As our game becomes more and more internationally focused, makes perfect sense. 3-1 count. And Martinez now a 3-2 pitch from Pettit.
Check out this 3-1 pitch because hitters are taught, you're geared up, you're ready for something hard, and Pettit takes a little bit off, a little break on that ball. Victor Martinez out in front. That calmness, that thing that Joe Torre talked about when Andy Pettit's out there on the hill. You know he's going to make good decisions. You know he's going to make, quality pitches. And that 3-1 pitch was a quality pitch.
Very short lead by Hafner, who almost fell down and reached the second base bag. He does not run particularly well or often, but again, with that great pickoff move, Pettit keeps everybody on their toes over there at first base.
And I think that's why that lead was so short. Pettit's got a great move, and even though the lead was short, he still kind of fooled Hafner with that move, and he just basically fell down on the bag, but not getting a big lead at all.
Payoff pitch in a 1-run game. Bouncing ball off the glove of Pettit. Cano bobbles, throws to first. Relay won't be made. How about Hafner? Put on the brakes as Cano fielded the ball at second, forced him to make a throw, and he earned his way to second base to stay out of a double play.
See this ball get in on him, and it goes off Pettit's glove. If it doesn't go off his glove, they might have a double play. Then Cano doesn't come up with it cleanly to get the lead guy. See, this ball's going right to Cano at second base, goes off his glove. He's got to change his direction. Now he doesn't come up with it cleanly, so now he's got to go to first base. And Hafner goes into second.
Well, fortunately for the Yankees, they had the right guy running down the first baseline. Victor Martinez is not blessed with the greatest speed in the world. Cano had plenty of time to recover and still get the out at first base.
Third time tonight now that Cleveland's had a runner in scoring position. They have yet to score. They had Johnny Peralta thrown out at the plate by Melky Cabrera in the second inning after Lofton singled. Jason Michaels doubled to right to lead off the third, but the Indians couldn't get the ball out of the infield to score him. Now they have Hafner at second with 1 out and Ryan Garco up. And a fast strike has Garco behind 0-1. Garco hit the lefties well this year. 310, 7 home runs. But no Indian in tonight's Eric Wedge lineup has a home run against Andy Pettit.
We saw Garco last night take a ball out over the plate and hit it out to straightaway right field. And so you know with a guy like Pettit changing speeds, it's really important for him to think about right field to keep his barrel in the zone. So Indians having a lot of success. Runners in scoring position.
But not with this at bat as Jeter makes short work of Ryan Garco. Hafner still anchored at second now with 2 outs, and Johnny Peralta's up.
Yeah, nice job by Pettit making a quality pitch. Garco a little bit out in front, grounds it to short. To me, it's almost like Pettit never left. You know, I mean, you forget he played in the National League for a couple of years, and he's come right back to the Yankees and pitched extremely well again.
Well, he had some elbow issues in Houston, and that really sapped some of his strength, but he's been as good as gold for Joe Torre this year. Swing and a miss as Peralta down a strike. That graphic we showed you with runners in scoring position. 6 for 12 is Cleveland in the series. They're 1 for 5 so far tonight and trail by a run in the 4th. And that hit was the single by Kenny Lofton that turned into the Cabrera assist to retire Peralta in the 2nd.
I think there's been a little bit of discussion on that last pitch. I think Posada and Pettit and Joe Torre thought pretty good pitch. Diaz, home plate umpire, didn't think so.
That one in there, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now Posada, you'll notice as he gives his signs here, has tape wrapped around his fingers. There are some shadows here at this time of day and will get worse as the game progresses until the lights fully take hold. Perhaps Pettit had a little problem seeing the fingers.
Popped up right side, Yankees dugout, and out of play.
I know some catchers in the past that have used whiteout on their fingernails. That's
I think he's got a little bit. I think he's got a little bit of that on his fingers.
Bobby, you were old school. You wouldn't paint your fingernails, would you?
Not white. That would clash too badly with the gray uniforms. You know, the nice navy blue that the Yankees wear might look good, but
yeah.
I don't know that the pitcher could see it.
How concerned is a catcher with the grip with the tape?
It's obviously something that Posada has worked with before. Sometimes you can just put tape on the back of your fingers and not on the inside, and it wouldn't affect your throwing motion whatsoever.
In the dirt, Posada blocks that. No advance. And Peralta earns a 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, nice block by Posada, keeping that ball in front.
That's why Joe Torre was very happy to pitch Pettit in Game 2. If you win Game 1, you love your chances for a 2-0 lead. If you lose Game 1, you feel great about a split. And he just missed the inside corner. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that's really the job of the road team in the opening games of any playoff series. Get a split at the very least. And the Yankees lead, have a chance for that.
That last pitch, Posada wanted it in. Pettit put it exactly where he wanted it.
That's twice in this at bat. The Yankees thought they had Peralta struck out. But they do have him struck out. Pettit changes speeds beautifully, strands another Indian in scoring position, and leads by a run as we head to the 5th at Jacobs Field in Cleveland.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Chevy, an American Revolution.
Well, what a difference a day makes. Excellent starting pitching and only 1 run through 4 tonight in Game 2 of our American League Division Series from Cleveland's Jacobs Field, presented by Budweiser. Tony Gwynn, Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, Chip Carey with you tonight. from Jacobs Field with Jorge Posada leading things off. Both the Indians and Yankees felt very, very comfortable with who they were sending to the mound after last night's slugfest. Pettit with all that postseason experience, and Carmona with the explosive, almost overwhelming stuff. And both have lived up to the advanced billing through 4 tonight.
No question.
And unlike the ball game last night, this is a game tonight that we may see a sac bunt. I know that'll make you happy, Chip.
Yes. Bring back the bunt to the American League.
Yeah, both pitchers dominating through the first 5 innings here, and you get the feeling this game is going to hinge on the execution of fundamentals or a mistake.
And the one mistake so far is the home run ball that Cabrera hit out.
Yep.
And the execution for Cleveland. Again, they've had the leadoff man on 3 times tonight and have left 3 men anchored at second base in a 1-run game. And Posada spoils a good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Fausto Carmona, who's not at all in awe of these New York Yankees. Said, I don't look at names, I go after hitters, and go after him he has tonight.
We're giving up 2 hits. One of them was really a hanging slider to Miguel Melky Cabrera. That's the only run of the night so far.
And both pitchers with very manageable pitch counts at this point in the ball game. I'm surprised they haven't made Carmona put that tag in his shirt yet. He's had it out there since the 2nd inning of the ball game.
Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That would be one of those things that teams would mess with Carmona. You know, if he's throwing nothing but strikes, hey, make him get that tag in. And the Yankee hitters have really gone up there and battled. Again, the movement of that sinker. Posada staying on it enough just to foul it off.
Well, you love the postseason when youngsters get their first chance to shine on the biggest stage of all, and they come up with big performances. Carmona's doing it tonight. Melky Cabrera all ready for the Yankees. And the sinker misses downstairs. Leadoff man aboard for the Yankees. Joe Torre's the Yankee skipper. Very happy with the performance of Andy Pettit to this point.
Well, I'll tell you, Chip, Andy Pettit is so cool under fire. You know, there's no guarantee he wins or that he pitches well all the time, but we know one thing: he doesn't beat himself.
You know, Joe, we've talked to you the last couple ball games about this time of year. It's all about execution. There are no secrets anymore at this time of year. Melky Cabrera got a hanging slider on the inside part of the plate, and he did what a hitter has to do when the opposing pitcher makes a mistake.
Well, there's no question. Everything is magnified this time of year, but it's the same old scouting reports, the same old stuff. The only difference is you don't see each other very much now with this unbalanced schedule. But you're right, Bobby. It's all about execution and making sure you know how many outs there are, don't miss a sign, and all those things.
Joe, as always, thank you. We'll see you in New York.
All right, guys.
So Robinson Cano is up with the leadoff man Posada on here in the 5th inning. Yankees trying to add to a 1-run lead. And no sign of a bunt from Cano with that first pitch. Big hole right side with the left-hand hitter up. And Posada draws a token throw to first.
Posada's not the guy you would expect to just take off and try to steal a bag. You know, if he is moving, it's going to be part of a hit and run and hit.
Strike outside corner.
You bring up a good point, Tony. I think a lot of people have a misconception that you only hit and run with fast runners.
Right.
Sometimes the best time to hit and run is with the slow runner because he needs every advantage he can to get in motion over there at first base, and then you put it on the hitter to protect him.
Yeah, and Carmona let him know right away, hey, I know you're over there, by making a throw over to first base. And as we've seen, Cano's not showing bunt.
Cano drove in 97 in the regular season. Hits a shot to short. Easy double play ball. They don't bunt, they don't run. Indians turn 2. Bases cleared, 2 out. That ball was scorched. And now Melky Cabrera, who's had himself quite a night tonight. Joe Torre said we need to get this kid going. I'd say he's answered the call tonight.
Throwing out Peralta here with 2 outs in the second inning, throwing him out easy. Coming in, getting a high five, and then going up to the plate and getting a hanging breaking ball and whacking it out of the ballpark to give the Yankees their only run. Pretty fired up about it, too. I think he's happy to be on the board.
18 hits at 100 September at bats. His first hit of this series is the only run that scored, and even more importantly, Bruce Fleming down the right field line had no doubt that that ball was fair. There's Bruce. One ball, no strikes. Bouncing ball to second. Cabrera to first. The sinker is sinking again in a scoreless 5th.
This telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Back at Jacobs Field, lower third up for the Indians. It starts with Kenny Lofton against Andy Pettit. And a base hit. Lofton, he's 2 for 2 tonight. Lofton had 4 lifetime hits against Andy Pettit in 32 at-bats. He's 2 for 2.
Really just swinging a bat good right now. Using the whole field. This is looks like a sinker down and in, cutter down and in. He stays on it nicely. You see, he's just trying to put the bat on the ball, not trying to do too much with it. You saw Minkiewicz take a couple of steps to the pull side. Lofton beats him to the second base side and gets the base hit.
So here's Michaels. He doubled the other way, his first and only time up. And now you have Kenny Lofton, a threat to run. Our leadoff line technology brought to you by Travelers Insurance. We'll see how far of a lead Lofton measures off against a man with, as we've said, one of the best pickoff moves in all of baseball.
Now Lofton does not have a stolen base against a left-handed pitcher this year, and only 2 going all the way back to 04 against lefties. And I think that pickoff move to first base to Kenny Lofton was more designed to see if Michaels at the plate would show what he was going to do. And Michaels did shorten up on the bat as if he were going to put down a bunt.
And Eric Wedge did say, we'll put a man in motion. We'll play hit and run. We will lay a bunt down if it's a close game. Well, we've got that here. 1-0 last of the 5th. And Michaels, a former National League player, did show bunt, and Lofton's back standing up.
That's the thing about Pettit's pickoff move. Not only does he fool the runners at first base, he can fool the hitters at the plate as well.
So far, Kenny Lofton. And we have our 9-foot line out there.
And you see in tonight's risk reward, we examine Andy Pettit. 9 postseason pickoffs. And Lofton has been around a long time. He's able to get back standing up.
And see, that lead he shortened up. He kind of sensed that maybe Pettit was going to come to first base. And so as you see him get out for his lead, when you get out to the white part of that 9, for the people at home, when he gets that right foot in the white of that 9, that's a pretty good size lead.
Again, Michael squares and lays it down. Posada is going to have only 1 play. A sacrifice. Runner at second with 1 out.
There's been all kind of situations in this series for that bunt. And here Michaels squares up and drops down a nice bunt. Moves Lofton into scoring position. You see his teammates high-fiving him for a job well done.
You know, we We've been talking a lot about the sacrifice bunt in the first couple games of this series, but you know, the reality is if a guy's not a good bunter,
sure,
you're asking him to do something he's probably not going to do well. But Jason Michaels, coming over from the National League, he's very familiar with putting bunts down to move runners and executed it perfectly in that situation.
So it does a couple of things. It advances Lofton into scoring position, keeps the Indians potentially out of the double play, and it brings up Casey Blake with a chance to tie it up. Knee-high strike has Blake behind 0-1. This place wants to erupt. Andy Pettitte has almost single-handedly silenced another gigantic crowd at Jacobs Field. They've made their share of rally cheers, but pitch after pitch and threat after threat has been subdued by Pettitte. And Blake behind now, 0-2.
Can't fall asleep with Lofton at second base either.
Don't forget, after game 2 in Cleveland tonight, we will take you to Fenway Park for the LA Angels of Anaheim and the Boston Red Sox. That's coming up next. Big swing game like this one here in Cleveland. Angels would love to head back to Anaheim, even at a game apiece. He offered but did not go. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the Indians are looking to get some production with runners in scoring position from somebody other than Kenny Lofton. Lofton 4 for 4 in those situations. The rest of the Indians 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
Kenny Lofton leading off this inning with a base hit. And now the base runner looking to score the run.
And again, Posada wants to make sure that he and Pettitte in a 1-run game are totally sure they know what the other's thinking.
I would imagine those two guys get deja vu.
Yeah.
A mound visit like that. They've done it so many times over the course of their respective careers. Posada alerting Pettitte to keep an eye on Lofton at second base. And there's that inside move just to make sure he's not trying to take off and steal third.
Cano's real close to that second base bag. A-Rod well behind the bag over at third.
And Cavitt's trying to take up some of the distance for Cano, who's bird dogging Lofton at second base. And Kenny Lofton's been right in the thick of everything for the Indians in this series. And now, as a base runner, being a thorn in the side of Andy Pettitte. Because he gets on base and people have to move. Cano's got to stay a little bit closer to second base. Minkevich has got to play a little bit more in the hole than he wants to.
And Lofton checking out where A-Rod's playing. Fly ball hit high in the air to left. But that's going to be playable for Johnny Damon. Lofton thinks about tagging, but that's only a bluff. And the crowd quiets for the moment again as Grady Sizemore is coming up with a runner at second, and again 2 outs.
You guys bring up some great points about the effect that speed has on the game. It distracts the pitcher. He's worried about the runner at second base. It breaks up the defense. The outfielders feel like they really have to charge the ball and get rid of it quickly should the ball be hit to the outfield. So many ways that speed will change the game.
Branch Rickey said it never slumps. And in a game where you're facing a guy like Pettitte, if you're thinking about a home run ball, which is what the Yankees saw the Indians feast on last night, you've got to find a way to manufacture something. And Sizemore looks at a strike.
Well, if history holds true, Pettitte's probably not going to give up a long ball to this Indians lineup. The entire postseason roster has a combined 0 home runs runs lifetime against Andy Pettitte.
I think Kenny Lofton, as a base runner, he realizes that too. So he's trying to distract Pettitte. He's trying to get him to maybe make a mistake to the hitter so that they can capitalize, maybe on a mistake somewhere in the plate. Whether it's by bouncing around at second base, stealing a bag, just making defenders move, trying to make it a little bit easier for his teammates to maybe get a pitch to hit.
Sizemore hit .284 against lefties this year. He singled, leading off the game in the bottom of the first. And he's now behind 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's a good example of a pitch right there by Pettitte. Feeling like Sizemore's looking for something to pull, so he goes with that cutter. You see, he's way out in front. And even if he hits that ball, that's going to be a ground ball to the right side. So Pettitte, very smart, not giving in, using the outer third of the plate.
What does the way the Indians or the Yankees line up defensively tell you about the way that Pettitte's going to pitch Sizemore, with A-Rod well off the line at third?
Well, I think that's based on past history. They know that Sizemore is basically a pull hitter. He'll go the other way only if he absolutely has to. He's looking for something he can jerk.
Well, he's got 2 strikes. And Lofton's going to break toward third, and he's going to be picked off. Andy Pettitte with another pickoff in postseason play. Erases Kenny Lofton, and the Indians are done in the 5th inning. What a move by Andy Pettitte. A gorgeous sunset on the shores of Lake Erie, and the Indians try to even up this series at a game apiece, lead by a run after 5. Behind the brilliant work of Andy Pettitte, Fausto Carmona's matched him nearly pitch for pitch. He's made the only mistake of the game, had a home run hit by Melky Cabrera back in inning number 3. Doug Minkiewicz leads it off. And again, that turbo sinker just a little bit low.
Those guys really been in control. You, like you said, Chip, 1 mistake. They've been pounding the strike zone, done a good job keeping runners off base. For the most part, done a pretty good job of working ahead, throwing strike 1. Well, not a whole lot of action out there today compared to yesterday's game.
Yeah, just 7 hits combined through 5 tonight. Yankees have just 2 hits, 2 of them. But not surprisingly, the team that hit more home runs than anybody else leads on a homer. Ground ball to first. Garco gets a friendly hop and wins the race to the bag. Great ballet in the middle of the diamond on that Pettitte pickoff.
Yeah, I really think the Yankee middle infielder set it up. You see Derek Jeter raise his arm in the air there as Lofton breaks for third. I really feel that was a design play. We saw Cano jockeying at second base, trying to hold Lofton close. On the pitch before that and on the pickoff, they both cleared the area. They gave Lofton plenty of room. I think they tried to bait him into stealing third base right there.
And Kenny did take the bait. He made the third out at third.
He took the bait, and they picked him off. And again, Andy Pettitte thinking ahead, thinking out of the box, thinking ahead a little bit. Knowing Kenny Lofton wanted to run and kind of baited him a little bit, and he took the bait.
And not a good move by Kenny Lofton. I mean, he's in scoring position at second base with 2 outs. The Cardinal rule about not making the third out of the inning at third base. And with his speed, he's going to score on just about any base hit. Really not much to gain by stealing third base there.
Let's check in again with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, you guys are exactly right in the booth. They definitely baited Lofton into thinking he had plenty of room. In fact, when he came over to third, watch A-Rod. He says, I can't believe you fell for that. We got you.
So another opportunity lost for the Indians. But they, at least in this 6th inning, Tony, will have 1, 2, and 3 up.
And that's the other thing, is that, you know, if he had gone to the plate, maybe you take a chance, steal third. If you get thrown at, you got the top of the lineup coming up. But I agree with Bob. You're already in scoring position already. 2 outs. Sizemore, pretty good hitter at the plate.
Back to the mound. Another sinker ball. turns into gold. Damon is 0 for 3. 2 outs, bases clear, and here's tonight's Sonic trivia question. How many players have had 3 hits with 2 outs and runners in scoring position in a postseason game? 3 hits with 2 outs and runners in scoring position in one postseason game.
I know one of them.
Yeah, happened just last night. And that was a big part of Cleveland's win last night. What a difference in games, though. 12-3 the final last night. 1-0 in game 2 tonight. Just 2 Yankee hits. Derek Jeter has one of them. He led off the 4th with a solid single up the middle. And is that one of those lucky squirrels that the Yankees were crowing about back in New York? A little chopper hit to the left side. Peralta's got to hurry. Long throw, and he just did get him to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Last of the 6th. Things aren't going squirrely in Atlanta, are they, EJ?
Oh, they always are, Chip. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you very much. We welcome you to a TBS game break, and no rodents wandering around here. We do have some observations, though, from the panel, and we'll start with Frank Thomas because, you know, in the baseball vernacular, it's everything's filthy and dirty and nasty and disgusting and whatever. And Frank's going to demonstrate what that is when you're facing somebody like that on the mound.
Well, I just want to show you a little something of it here. This big situation here with the runner at second base with 1 out with A-Rod. You notice he's throwing the ball, looks like it's straight, but at the end you're seeing a lot of darting, dancing, downward movement. The strikeout pitch is the key one right there. I think that shows you what we're talking about here on the panel. Fausto Camarena it's one of those pitchers that when he's on, he's on. All you can hope for is the ball's middle of the plate, that you can get off middle of the zone and try to get good contact.
Meantime, we have Curtis Granderson, who only stole 26 out of 27 bases for the Tigers this year. If there's anybody who knows about speed and about getting station to station, it's you. Now, what happened to Kenny Lofton this last time with Andy Pettitte on a mound?
He had Eddie Pettitte out there thinking about him with the pickoffs, with the step-offs. Posada kept coming out there talking about him. He was hoping maybe this time he's not going to think about him, but sure enough, they ended up calling another play. And they got him. And you guessed right. The Yankees called it and did it right.
And Andy Pettitte, one of the best moves, if not the best move in baseball.
And the best thing is, his best move is to first base, but now we saw there, if he does it right and it's time right, we can also get you to second base, too.
Meantime, on the far side of the panel, we have Cal Ripken, who I guess are you really on A-Rod watch?
I can't believe I am. I'm officially a member of the media, I suppose. I'm on A-Rod watch. But there is an observation. In his at-bats, the ones he's made contact, he's popped up 3 times. And I know when I was really pressing or stressed out a little bit, I would pop up to the first baseman or the catcher, which means you're pulling off the ball just a little bit, you're catching it out in front. It's just a small little smidgen that you're off. And it would be good if he could just wait just a little bit longer and let the ball come to him.
And we will
just
see,
an observation.
Yeah, we'll see A-Rod at the plate in the next inning. He bats second for the Yankees. It's a 1-0 game as we go back to the Jake. Take it away, Chip.
All right, Ernie Johnson, thank you very much. The fur indeed flying tonight. 1-0. Indians are trailing. They will have the top of their order up. Sizemore, Cabrera, and Travis Hafner. Tell LeBron the score. Well, LeBron, I think, is liking the score a whole lot better today than he did last night. But the Indians are going to try to change that right here against Pettitte. 3rd time through the order.
Pettitte's been tremendous. And Cal Ripken was talking about A-Rod at the studio. And one of the things to solve that is just to try to take the ball the other way. Quit trying to pull the ball, go the opposite field.
Now the base is clear and Sizemore up. Look at where Alex Rodriguez is playing now. With Lofton at second, he was well off the line. And very deep at third. Now he has to play even with the bag just in case Sizemore thinks about a bunt. And he hits that ball inside the bag fair and into the right field corner. Sizemore can fly on his way to second. Abreu digs it out. Misses the cutoff man, and Sizemore in with a triple. Speed, speed, and speed, and the threat of speed brought him in at the corners, and Sizemore takes advantage of a missed relay throw and is 90 feet away.
Well, we don't know what might have happened if Abreu does hit Cano with this relay throw back to the infield, but the fact of the matter is he overthrows him. That turns it into an easy triple for Grady Sizemore.
We talked about Sizemore with Lofton on second base. He's looking for a ball that he can pull, and he gets it, pulls it right down the line, and with his speed, he easily gets to third base.
So the question for Andy Pettitte, can he turn into Harry Houdini yet again? 5 times in this game, the Indians have had a leadoff man on. They have yet to score. And now Cabrera's up. As Dribble Cabrera's hit into a double play, he's been called out on strikes. And he taps it back to the mound on the first pitch.
Wow. What a huge momentum robber that was. Swinging at the first pitch out of the strike zone, an easy tapper back to the mound. The Yankees were conceding a run. The infield was playing back all the way around. Ground ball anywhere but back to the pitcher, scores the run. That's exactly where Cabrera hit the ball.
And now it gets tough because you have a lefty-lefty matchup here with Hafner. He is struck out. He has singled. But he is certainly a guy that's capable of delivering a fly ball. And with the speed of Sizemore at third, a fly ball of decent depth gives the Indians a great chance to tie it up.
Now the Yankees are going to bring the infield in. I hope Pettitte could get Hafner out in front of something. Hits it on the ground. A big at bat by Cabrera.
Took something off and Hafner down a strike.
Boy, Andy Pettitte just keeps on battling. Whatever you're going to get off of him, you're going to have to earn it because you're going to have to hit his pitch, it looks like. He's not giving in at all.
He's been better with runners on than runners off tonight. 6 Cleveland hits, none of them have scored. And a late swing. Hafner might have helped him out. That pitch was almost in Posada's glove and was way out of the strike zone. So the Indians, so patient last night, all of a sudden getting awfully anxious here in the 6th inning of a 1-run game.
Looks like he's trying to hurry up and have that at bat. We saw Cabrera chase a ball out of the zone for the first out. That last pitch way out of the zone, and Hafner trying to check his swing. Fouls it off into the upper tank.
And for a team Cleveland looking for a fly ball here, they only have one of them so far tonight. And that was Blake's fly out to Damon in left. Good eye, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Here's a nice block too by Posada, keeping that ball in front.
Well, that is just huge for a catcher to be able to do that with a runner at third base. It gives the pitcher confidence to make the pitch he has to make. And in this count, the pitch he had to make was a breaking ball in the dirt. He was able to execute the pitch. Posada blocked it perfectly.
Countless hours, I know, guys, are spent on a play just like that in spring training, bullpen sessions, side sessions.
A lot of times they just kind of take it for granted until they're in that situation where it's important that you keep that ball in front. And Posada did a great job just smothering that ball, not letting it get away from him.
A ball and 2 strikes. 2 men out.
Whew. Look at the break. Down in the zone. Even if he hits it, it's probably going to be a ground ball, but down in the zone.
Boy, Hafner didn't really have a good swing that entire at bat. It just appeared that he was caught in between Pettitte's deliveries. Didn't know whether to look for that cut fastball, the tailing fastball, the big breaking ball.
So after a lead-off triple, 2 are out, and it's up to Victor Martinez. who hit .400 this year with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. 3rd best mark in the American League. Infield can back up, play normal depth. As you see the leaders, Ichiro and Derek Jeter, and then Victor Martinez. Five times the Indians have had a leadoff man on. Pettit's kept him scoreless through 5 2/3. Inside corner, strike 2.
Yeah, that's why he had all that confidence in Andy Pettit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. He's made quality pitches. He picked off Lofton. This inning, leadoff triple, man at third, nobody out. And he's 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning without letting that run score.
Posada once again asking for a pitch down.
He got it there. Prestidigitation for Andy Pettit. A leadoff triple. The Indians cannot score, and the Jacobs Field crowd is stunned. 1-0. Yankees lead it in Game 2. Aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's silent armor technology. Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn, Craig Sager, Chip Carey, a classic in Cleveland. Andy Pettit has mesmerized this Cleveland attack. A leadoff triple by Grady Sizemore in the 6th, and the Indians cannot convert. And Pettit today allowing 1 hit in 10 at-bats for the Indians with runners in scoring position, and that right there is your ball game.
And that right there is why Joe Torre has Andy Pettit on the mound in this game.
Absolutely right. That was a clinic. Leadoff triple and gets the first out on a ball out of the zone, and then comes back with 2 punch outs. And check this out. Abreu's bat just kind of snapped in half right there. He's standing at the plate, taps it at the plate, and it just falls apart.
That's some kind of tap.
Yeah. Better he finds out now than swinging at a pitch. He probably cracked it in his last at bat and didn't realize it.
We're going to have to go back and hopefully find a replay of that. That thing just fell apart at home plate.
So Fausto Carmona back to work. He pumps over a quick strike. Check this out.
Yeah, so many players nowadays use the maple bats, and that is so funny.
One of Carmona's sinkers the last time up. Maybe he cracked it. And
ground ball right side. Ball bobbled. And it's going to cost Asdrubal Cabrera. 2 steps to his right, and he bobbled it. And Abreu runs pretty well, and he's aboard, leading off the 7th inning. E4.
Abreu came out of the box. He knew it was going to be a backhand play, and he's running the whole way. See him hit that ball, and he's letting her eat. Cabrera just bobbles it enough for him to beat it out pretty easily, too.
Yeah, Cabrera had just 1 error at second base in regular season play. Will this one be costly? Here comes A-Rod. Kurt Cal and Frank and EJ talking moments ago about the A-Rod watch. Is it officially on? 0 for 4 in the series. 3 pop-outs, a strikeout, 2 walks.
As I would say, I think you solve that by just trying to hit a ball to right field. Don't worry so much about it. You've got power to right field. We saw Ryan Garco do this for the Indians last night. Back a ball up and hit it to straightaway right field. You know, Carmona's got the sinker working right now, and this is really not a guy you want to be trying to pull in.
Inside corner, a strike, and there is an alley that way. Abreu, you have to hold him. Garco's right on top of the bag. You've got Cabrera playing up the middle at second base.
See, both guys' pitch count as compared to last night, they're in good shape. 79 pitches. Carmona's thrown a lot of strikes tonight.
And as it stands now, with all the accolades going toward Andy Pettitte, and justifiably so, this kid making his first postseason starts, firing a 2-hitter at the Yankees, and is down only a run.
Well, that one run was a hanging slider that, the way his sinker was working tonight, I'm not sure if I'd have thrown it, but he did, and Cabrera hit it out of him.
The Indians hoping that Carmona's first postseason start will mirror that of another young right-handed flamethrower, Jarrett Wright. Remember him? 1997 beat Andy Pettitte and the Yankees. And a very late time call granted by Las Diaz.
Now, for those that aren't familiar, you do not have to grant the hitter timeout if you feel that pitcher is far enough into his delivery, but A-Rod raised the right hand, requested timeout. Las Diaz granted it.
Runner at first, nobody out. And another throw. Abreu back safely. Abreu, one of the best Yankee base stealers. 25 stolen bases, 33 tries. A slider. Alex Rodriguez 0-for-3 with a couple of strikeouts. One on, one out in a 1-0 game. Back upstairs at Jacobs Field. You can't get better postseason pitching than what we are seeing here tonight.
And no better example than right here against Alex Rodriguez. Carmona starts him with a changeup for a called strike. Then comes back with that turbo sinker on the outside corner for strike 3. And that little slider off the outside corner, a much better slider than he threw earlier in the game for the home run.
Yeah, and he's been impressive. Like we said, he's made one mistake tonight. Cabrera hits it out of the ballpark, but for the most part, the sinker's been good. His changeup's been good. That last slider to Alex was good. And he's been overshadowed by Andy Pettitte, who's pitched extremely well.
What a difference a day makes. That's the point we made about 3 innings ago. The difference in the game last night, the slugfest that took place. This is a typical October postseason pitching performance from Andy Pettitte and Fausto Carmona.
Now, this is more what you expect in postseason baseball. 90-foot wars. Every base is so important. Moving runners up, getting runners over. Indians really have to be feeling the sting after not being able to drive home Sizemore with nobody out and a runner at third.
And down a single skinny run. Here's Matsui with 1 out. And Hideki takes a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Matsui walked in the second and bounced out to first in inning number 4. Again to first. And again, guys, middle of the ball game, our stand-up open. We talked about the importance of this big swing game here tonight. From Cleveland's perspective, this is the last time, unless there's a game 5, they're going to have this raucous home crowd cheering their every move. A very different environment at Yankee Stadium for game 3. And for New York, quite obviously, with the questions about Roger Clemens and who will pitch game 4 for the Yankees, they can ill afford to go back to the Bronx down 2 games to none.
No question. I mean, from the Yankee standpoint, you know, they've got the right guys, the right guy going on the mound today to hopefully try to, you know, get them back to New York with a 1-1 record. Chance to play the next 2 at home.
Ground ball first. Garco's got it. Second for 1. Hop, skip, and a throw to first. Not in time. Matsui looked like he got down the line in pretty good shape, even with that balky knee. And a force out retires Abreu, 2 out. As we check out our Sonic trivia question. Again, how many players have had 3 hits with 2 outs and runners in scoring position in a postseason game? And the answer is 2. The first one was Omar Vizquel in Game 3 of the 2001 American League Division Series. That came against the Mariners. Kenny Lofton did it last night.
Wow. Well, we got one right.
And I think the Indians would probably like to have 1 or 2 of those hits back from last night. That's usually the worry, too. A team breaks out. We said it at the time last night. You know, Andy Pettitte saying, get it out of your system tonight, Cleveland. And he's done his part as well. Here's Posada. He's walked and has been doubled up. Fly ball, center field. Good jump. Sizemore, diving catch. How big will that play be? We stretch in Cleveland. Andy Pettitte nursing a 1-run lead after 6.5 at Jacobs Field. An early October classic, our ALDS Game 2 presented by Budweiser. Yankees 1, Indians 0. Last of our 7th inning with Ryan Garco set to go against Andy Pettitte. And he takes a sinker in for a strike. Garco tonight has played pepper with Derek Jeter. He's rolled out to short twice. Inside corner. He is carving up the quadrant tonight.
Just his pitch selection has been outstanding. For Ryan Garco tonight, seems like every time he's looked for a fastball, he's gotten something off speed. And every time he's looked off speed, he's gotten a fastball. There, he painted a fastball inside corner.
Fisted toward first. Midkiewicz with a stagger and foul ground over and makes the catch. There's your first out in the 7th inning, and it's time for our Baby Ruth 7th inning stretch game summary. Guys, this one easy to summarize offensively. The Melky Cabrera solo homer in the 3rd. The only run that is scored in Game 2.
Pettitte, Fausto Carmona, both of them outstanding. Indians last half an inning had Sizemore at 3rd and nobody out, couldn't score. And they find themselves down 1-0.
And as Pettitte continues to pitch on here with a very reasonable pitch count and a 1-run game, the decision factor for Joe Torre starts to become a big factor here. How long do you let Pettitte go? And who do you summon first out of the bullpen? Jabba Chamberlain's been one of the great stories for the Yankees all year. The flame-throwing setup man for Mariano Rivera, who is the Yankee closer.
Well, and given the fact that Joe didn't have to use the good tail end of his bullpen yesterday, and an off day tomorrow, he may be able to extend those guys a little bit if he feels it necessary to go to the pen.
And the key word there is if. The way Pettitte's pitching, why trouble? Yep. 2 balls and a strike.
The pitch count is fine. He's at 86. Really hadn't had any trouble with him. Last inning he really had to work to get the 3 outs, but he's done a masterful job tonight. And so a lot of it's going to depend on how he gets through this inning.
Out of play into the upper deck.
You know, when you talk to pitchers, especially veteran pitchers like Andy Pettitte, pitch count is not that important. Granted, if you get to a certain number, you have to be concerned, but they talk about high-stress pitches, and certainly in that last inning, with Sizemore at 3rd base, he had to make a lot of high-stress pitches to get out of that inning, but he's showing no signs of the wear and tear here in the 7th.
Fly ball belted, left center field. Cabrera on the run. He can't get there. High off the wall. The only thing wrong with that from Cleveland's perspective was bad aim. If he hits it 4 feet to the right, it's a solo home run. Instead for Peralta, it's a long double with 1 out.
Pettitte tried to come inside with the fastball one too many times. see where Posada's setting up. You see where that ball ended up. It's out over the plate. And boy, this is a nice swing right there. Look at the extension.
Went down and threw that ball. Got great carry to straightaway center field. Every ballpark has its own personality. Well, the personality hurt the Indians right there.
Yeah, he just missed a home run by a few inches, really, because like you said, Chip, a couple feet to the right, and that ball's out of here.
And you see Peralta looking out at Melky Cabrera, waving his helmet, saying exactly what you just said. 3 feet to the right, and this place is going crazy. So runner at second, 1 out for Kenny Lofton, who's 2 for 2. That's why Ron Guidry was out for the meeting. And we invite you to enter People Magazine's Sexiest Fan Alive contest. And you, a guy or a girl, could be in People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive issue and win a VIP trip for 2 to a 2008 Major League Baseball World Series game. To enter, go to peoplesexiestfan.com. Jabba Chamberlain is up in the Yankees bullpen. Lofton 2 for 2. 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position in the series. And he takes the ball low.
He's been the perfect guy to hit in this situation. You see, he's 4 for 4. And again, the contact hitter's not a guy looking to drive the ball out of the ballpark. He's just looking to find a hole. Looking to make a solid pass, solid contact, and hopefully find a hole to get the Indians even.
Crowd on its feet with a 1-0 pitch. Lofton was up, you'll recall, in the second with Peralta at second. A single to center. Melky Cabrera threw out Peralta to retire the side. Will we have a repeat here? Did not swing. 3-0.
Kenny Lofton being under control. Going to check his swing on that. I'm sure Posada's going out having that discussion with Pettit. Hey, this guy's hurt us. First base is open here.
Now the question. Desperate for a run, do you green light your hottest hitter? Down a run with Chamberlain waiting and a right-hand batter next.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't either, but you got to consider if he walks him.
We'll never know. Wasn't hittable. Ball 4, 2 on, 1 out.
We were talking about Pettit cruising along. Well, this is the situation where you got a right-hander in the bullpen that throws 95, 96 miles per hour. Even though he's a young guy, this might be the situation you want to bring him in.
Another long conversation down into that Yankee bullpen. As Pettit will face Michaels, who doubled into the right field corner and sacrificed his last time up, and Joe Torre indeed is going to make his decision. For the first time tonight, Joe Torre has to worry with Andy Pettit between the white lines. What a night. Pettit 6 innings and 1/3 of shutout baseball, leaves with 2 on and 1 out. And into the Yankee bullpen he goes for the first time in Game 2 tonight. Then and now, presented by AIG. Live longer, retire stronger, never outlive your money with AIG. Let's take a look at Bob Feller, who pitched for 18 seasons, won 266 times, including 6 20-plus win seasons. He holds the distinction of being the oldest living tenured Hall of Famer, elected in 1962. The 1948 world champion lives in the Cleveland area and works for the Indians in an ambassador public relations role. He's been a Hall of Famer more than half his life. And Paul Bird learned his windup from Rapid Robert, Bob Feller of the Cleveland Indians. 1-0 is your score. Back upstairs, guys. This ball game now moves into the late innings, and Joe Torre, the first managerial move tonight. Out goes Andy Pettitte. Into the bullpen he goes here.
Well, it's a fairly easy move for Joe Torre to make at this point. Pettitte gave him everything he had up to this point. Jabba Chamberlain has been awesome in these situations in the second half of the season. And the Indians are 0-for. The entire roster is 0-for against Jabba Chamberlain in limited action.
So Andy Pettitte pick off Kenny Lofton, and then with a man on third and 1 out, strikes out Hafner. Comes back, strikes out Martinez. I mean, he did a super job for him tonight. Put him in a position where they could win, and now, after the double by Peralta and the walk to Lofton, puts it in the hands of Jabba Chamberlain to get him out of this semi-jam.
There are the numbers for Jabba Chamberlain. A 6'3", 230-pound flamethrower out of Lincoln, Nebraska, one of 9 Yankees to record his first big league win this year. Didn't allow a run in his first 15 innings and a third. That's the second longest scoreless streak to start a career for the Yankees since slow Joe Doyle went 18 consecutive without a run way back in 1906. And there's the big story for Chamberlain. 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position this year. And guys, some say this Yankee tandem of Chamberlain and Mariano Rivera harkens back to the days of John Wetland and Mariano Rivera late.
That's pretty high praise, because those last 2 guys you mentioned were lights out and a game over. When you saw Wetland and Rivera hit a ball game late, first Rivera setting up for Wetland, it was over.
And so Pettitte did all he could do. You can't pitch any better than Andy Pettitte did tonight. Jabba Chamberlain into the bright spotlight of postseason play for the very first time in inning number 7.
And that's what you're watching for, to see how Chamberlain is going to respond this first time out. Comes in, guy in scoring position.
And he starts Franklin Gutierrez with a slider. Pretty smart pitch. Absolutely. Called by Posada.
Gutierrez coming off the bench. First pitch is a snapping breaking ball for a strike.
And another one.
It's a pretty good curveball. Chamberlain coming in. Does a strike, and then this one that's off the plate. Gutierrez chases it.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Slider again. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Filthy pitch, 2 outs.
We've seen Carmona throwing his changeup in the high 80s. Jabba Chamberlain comes in out of the bullpen. He's throwing his breaking ball in the mid 80s. That last one at 87.
That's a beautiful pitch, because he starts it in the strike zone. And by the time the hitter swings at it, it's out of the strike zone. So that's a great pitch. Great job.
First batter faced, a huge stat for anybody pitching out of a bullpen, and Chamberlain retires the first. Now it's up to Casey Blake. Again, the Indians with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, down a run. Last inning, a leadoff triple couldn't score. Here in the 7th, a 1-out double. And a blazing fastball at 99 for a strike.
That was in case you thought I was going to start you off with a breaking ball. Here's 99 on the inner half.
And up a little bit.
Yeah.
Casey Blake, a good low ball hitter. He's going to have all kinds of problems with 99 up around the belt or higher.
Fly ball right field, but playable. Abreu's got a beat on it, and Jabba Chamberlain comes in and makes short work of the Indians in the 7th. Andy Pettitte leads it by a run as we go to the 8th. This American League Division Series on TBS presented by Budweiser, official beer of Major League Baseball. And we've seen a major pitching performance from both starters tonight. Beautiful look high above Cleveland, Ohio. 1 game to none. The Tribe in front. And a tapper back to the mound. Robinson Cano retired by Fausto Carmona, who has matched Pettit nearly pitch for pitch. Bobby, during the break, you made a great point about Andy Pettit and the ability to work himself into and out of trouble so far tonight.
He gave up 1 hit in every inning in this ball game, including the 7th, the double by Peralta, but managed to keep the Indians off the board. Okay, once again, I go back to Joe Torre making the decision that Pettit was going to be his Game 2 guy. It's kind of been that way. He started Game 2 of every division series he's been involved in.
A sinker for a strike to the only man that has touched home plate today. Melky Cabrera hitting 180 in September. A solo home run on a slider that hung.
He leaned on it pretty good. And who knew that would be the only run thus far.
Another sinker back to the mound. Log on to TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner and watch exclusive online live coverage of postseason action. I know Alyssa Milano's a big baseball fan. She's working for the Hot Corner. I hope she's logging in and watching this game. Love to find out what she thinks about Andy Pettit and Fausto Carmona's work tonight.
Well, if you're a fan of good pitching, this is right up your alley. Both starting pitchers outstanding. Jabba Chamberlain came in there and was very impressive getting those last 2 outs.
And so Doug Minkiewicz, the final Yankee hope in the 8th. They lead 1-0. You have to go back to what Carmona said before the start of this series. I'm not intimidated by the Yankees. I'm not intimidated by the names on the back of the jerseys. I'm just going to go after hitters. And he has lived up to that.
If I had an arm like his, I wouldn't be intimidated either.
Lots of bugs flying around tonight, and you see umpires and players in the field trying to fan them away from their face.
Slider inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A little bit humid today, so.
And the poise that Carmona has shown in this ball game. He just expressionless out there on the mound. Just concentrating on the task at hand.
When he was 1-10 last year and rallied this year to his 19-8 record. What a comeback. The second pitcher to start his career 1-10 or worse and get back to 500 or better in the history of the game. In his second year, Fausto Carmona. Guy Martin started 1-13 in 1914, ironically enough, for the Indians. Finished his career 98-88.
Well, Carmona said he wasn't intimidated by the Yankee lineup. However, those bugs may be causing him to lose his focus out there on the mound a little bit. That's probably more annoying than some of the at-bats he's had in this ball game against the Yankee hitters.
Full count. Well, remember, guys, the Nats over in the National League caused some trouble, too. In the final week. 3 balls, 2 strikes, bases clear. Minkiewicz.
Yeah, I think the bugs hovering around home plate, hovering around the mound. some of the fans might think it's, you know, bad sportsmanship or trying to get Carmona off his game, but you can see him on your screen. They're hovering around. Offensive guys, Carmona pitching.
Ground ball foul.
I'll tell you, Tony, you know it's tough enough to hit major league pitching when your vision is perfect and you have your focus completely on that pitcher. But for Doug Mitkevich, trying to concentrate on Carmona out there on the mound with those bugs in his ears and his eyes, up his nose.
Yep. Guy throwing 95, 96 miles per hour. And he's like, yeah, flying in my mouth. They're flying everywhere. Read his lips there.
Well, in this game for both starters and Jabba Chamberlain, a grand total of 6 fly outs so far. Hard hit ball to second. No trouble as dribble Cabrera. Bottom 8. 1-0 Yankees in front. Just when you think, guys, you've seen everything you can see in a Major League Baseball game, check it out.
Now, I want to know if that's considered to be a foreign substance. But I think even when the home plate umpire uses it, it's okay for everybody.
See, Jabba didn't want to get that stuff on his pitching hands. So
that's probably why Laz Diaz was out there to make sure. And so they'll spread the bug spray all around the infield. The umpires take a shot or two as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Game 2 of the ALDS presented by Budweiser. And this might be the critical inning for the Yankees and the Indians tonight. Chamberlain, a clean frame with the top of the Indians order coming up. Grady Sizemore, 2 hits for him, led off the 6th of the triple and was not brought home to tie the game.
I think everybody is going to want a little spray of that off umpires, players alike.
And I'm sure Craig Sager's feeling the effects of those flying insects. Craig?
Well, it's funny, Chip. Before every game, we always check with the equipment managers. Does anybody need any special equipment tonight? Anybody got hurt? They're wearing something different? Do they have an extra glove in case a different pitcher comes in? Well, Tony Amata, equipment manager for the Cleveland Indians, he was prepared tonight. He has off down in that dugout, so the Cleveland Indians should be all right. The big problem is, of course, that these gnats or bugs, whatever they are being attracted to moisture, which is perspiration, and that's why they're covering behind home plate by the catcher and the umpire. So they are passing out the off and also the bug spray to the umpires and down the line to the different players. And I don't know if this is caused by a little breeze coming off the lake or not, but we will play on.
So we're set to go. Thank you, Craig. Sizemore will start it off.
Well, if those bugs are indeed drawn to moisture in the form of perspiration, Andy Pettitte would have been safe out there on the mound because he was calm, cool, and collected tonight.
So here comes Sizemore. Look at where the Yankees now play him. Mitkevich guarding the line at first. A-Rod even with the bag and close to the line at third. And a fastball for a ball 1 inside. Guard the lines late in close games.
I wouldn't be surprised to see A-Rod move a little closer to the line at third. As hard as Chamberlain is throwing, there's a good chance Sizemore is going to swing late. Those fastballs consistently sitting in the high 90s.
Ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. Chamberlain allowed only 1 earned run in 24 regular season innings. And left-handed batters had just 5 hits against him in 38 tries. But he's gone 3-0 to the fastest runner in the Cleveland lineup here. A 4-pitch walk. Tying run on in the 8th. And so again, in a 1-run game with the 2, 3, 4 hitters up next for the Indians, Eric Wedge telling us before the game he's not afraid to play for a run. They bunted back in the 5th inning with their 8th place hitter and a man aboard. Would they do it here with Cabrera?
Playing at home.
And again, all the insects really distracting Chamberlain and the rest of the Yankee infield. You see Derek Jeter waving that cap around. And so the Indians try to break out everything they possibly can to make game 2 a home field advantage. I'm sure the Red Sox will try to bug the Angels too. They play them next. That'll be Escobar and Daisuke Matsuzaka. Escobar a great year. Matsuzaka with 15 wins. If Boston wins that series, they'll head west up 2-0. If the Angels win, they'll split that series and head west. And hopefully from Anaheim's perspective, they'll get healthy. They are a banged up ball club.
I was going to say, I mean, the Indians are at home here. They're down a run. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. Do they bunt? Do they sacrifice bunt? Do you play hit and run? Do you maybe try to make something happen and play for a big inning here?
Well, the old axiom is you play for a tie at home, you play for the win on the road. But I think once again, Eric Wedge knows his personnel better than anybody else. If he thinks Cabrera can get the bat on a Jabba Chamberlain pitch, maybe he sends Sizemore, plays a little run and hit. I would fully expect a sac bunt right here.
I would too.
I mean, a lot of different options, but oh man, look at it. "24 innings of work during the regular season, only 1 stolen base against Jabba Chamberlain, and we've already seen Posada's arm behind the plate in this series."
How can you hit a fastball through that cloud of insects? Gets away. Sizemore to second. They don't have to bunt to get him to second. Will they bunt to get him to third now? Wild pitch.
I'm really beginning to wonder if these bugs are having an effect on Chamberlain. He walked Sizemore on 4 pitches in there. The ball, Posada isn't even able to get a glove on it. Hits Las Diaz in the shin guard and goes to the backstop.
Now, third base coach Joel Skinner called Cabrera about halfway down the line to verbally tell him what he wants him to do in this situation. I think we're going to see bunt again.
Get him to third. Put the pressure on Posada and Chamberlain. And put the Indians in a spot where a fly ball could potentially tie the game. He's got to get the bunt down first, if indeed he bunts at all. He does, and it's a beauty. Chamberlain loads up, gets his man, sacrifice. Second of those in the game for the Indians, and yet again, the tying run 90 feet away and only 1 out.
The pitchers are usually taught in an obvious sacrifice bunt situation to throw a high fastball. Cabrera does a nice job of staying on top of a high fastball, dumping that ball to the third base side for an easy sac bunt. Keeps that bat level, raises it up there about shoulder level, deadens the ball off the end of the bat, perfectly executed.
And so for Hafner now, guys, a chance at 8th inning redemption. He was up with 1 out, runner at third in the 6th inning and struck out. That was against left-hander Andy Pettitte. Now he's got the hard-throwing right-hander in Chamberlain.
I see the Indians with runners in scoring position. 1 for 12 tonight. Fausto Carmona is going to get off the hook tonight. He needs one of his teammates to step up here and drive in this run. Yankees playing the infield in here. They're going to try to cut this run off at the plate.
Hot shot right at Midges. Wow, what a rope. 2 men out.
Well, that's every corner infielder's worst nightmare. When you're playing in trying to cut off a run at home plate, you've got a dead pull hitter at the plate, and he hits a rocket right at you. Great reaction by Midges.
Well, there isn't a whole lot more you can do if you're Travis Hafner. You've got a pitch to hit. You square it up nice. You hit it right on the button, and it goes right to the first baseman.
So the Indians 1 for 13 now with runners in scoring position. And again, it's up to Victor Martinez with Sizemore at third and 2 down in a 1-0 game. Infield can back up. They're all at normal depth. No wind to speak of. One wild pitch in this inning. So Posada's really got to sacrifice himself on a ball in the dirt here. And keep Sizemore at third base. Wild pitch. Here comes Sizemore. Friendly bounce. Not in time. We're tied. He couldn't save that one.
One wild pitch the entire season for Jabba Chamberlain. 2 in this inning to tie the ball game.
And you know what? Grady Sizemore is probably the only guy on the Indians who would have scored on that ball. It bounced right back to Posada. You see Chamberlain trying to get there, but the speed of Sizemore able to get there just under the tag.
And now, guys, he's really got to collect himself, because if he grooves one here, the Yankees could be going to the 9th inning down a run. And Martinez hit by a pitch. Don't know if it's the case. We won't know until the game is over. But the insects have gotten under the skin of Jabba Chamberlain in this 8th inning.
I don't think there's any question.
Well, with his velocity and that vicious movement on the breaking ball, that's tough for any catcher to try to block everything that comes up there. And he has really been scatter-armed here. As the bugs have gotten worse, so has his command. Looked like he really tried to fire a breaking ball down and in here. And fortunately for Victor Martinez, it catches him on that shin guard.
Ball 1. Borderline call, but when you're as wild as Chamberlain has been in the 8th, you're not going to get the close pitches. Garco, tremendous power. 0 for 3 in tonight's game. Back our way, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees know that to win this series, to advance and win that series, and to win a potential World Series, they are going to have to rely on the kids they have in their bullpen. And so the first postseason appearance for Chamberlain, brilliant in the 7th, pestered in the 8th.
I think pestered's a good word. Those bugs have really caused him a little bit of a problem here.
Nearly hit another man. 2 balls and a strike.
fastball. Just a fastball in. But you see all the bugs swirling around in between the pitcher's mound and home plate.
It's kind of an odd visit there. Joe Torre doesn't normally go out to the mound to talk to pitchers. He usually sends Ron Guidry out to relay a message, but apparently he had something he wanted to say, and he wanted Chamberlain to hear it from his lips.
And I'm sure the infielder's saying, great. He's got the bug spray. We don't. Let's break this up. Chamberlain wiping the perspiration off that right forearm.
Well, if you're an Indians hitter right now, we talk about keyholing. You look for one pitch in one zone, make sure it's there, and make sure you're ready to hit it. Chamberlain really struggling.
I see this inning especially, only 3 strikes. Garco hit a home run last night on a ball that was out over the plate, took it to right field.
And all the things that they teach you in the minor leagues, this is one thing they probably have no way of teaching. How to handle massive flying insects in a late inning game. Garco now a full count. And the catcher, Victor Martinez, will get a head start. The importance of that play, obviously. If Garco can split a gap, Martinez might get waved around third.
That's a big might. Victor Martinez does not run well at all. He's going to need to get a huge lead over there at first base and cut those corners perfectly if he's going to score on a ball hit to the outfield.
All this bug trouble started when the wind stopped. Flag in center field, not moving a bit. Two on, 2 out. Winning run at second.
Nobody warming in the Yankee bullpen at this point.
That might change.
Now it looks like somebody's going to get up now, start to throw. It's going to take a while, though. Chamberlain's going to have to at least work to Johnny Peralta unless the Yankees can figure out a way to stall for some time.
Luis Vizcaíno will begin to loosen. Johnny Peralta, slider strike. Peralta was thrown out at the plate trying to score on a Lofton single in the second. Struck out swinging in the fourth. Doubled with 1 out and was stranded in the 7th.
This Indian crowd hanging on every pitch. Majority of fans on their feet.
Ground ball foul at third. So the Indians again down to their final strike in the 8th inning. 1-1 game. All the struggles with runners in scoring position tonight. They tie the game on a wild pitch.
We said earlier that this game may hinge on a mistake. Two wild pitches in the inning by Chamberlain allowed the Indians to tie this ball game up.
And the leadoff walk started the whole mess. So Andy Pettitte cannot win this game. Carmona still on for the Indians. Slider, strike 3 called, and the inning is over. But a wild pitch ties the game and sends it to the 9th inning. 1-1 is your score. New ball game, 9th inning, tie score, and aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's silent armor technology. Fausto Carmona going to work with 95 pitches under his belt through 18 groundouts, 3 strikeouts, and only 2 hits allowed to New York through 8. And now it's his turn to battle the insects that are hovering over the infield. Not much trouble in the outfield, although now Kenny Lofton.
Yeah, it looks like he may have gotten one of those flying insects in his eye out there in left field. Was desperately trying to get Jim Wolf's attention down the left field line and get time out. Finally was able to alert the umpire.
And so Lofton, a little eye wash. Craig, what do you have for us?
Well, I do not have a degree in entomology, but I can tell you about these insects, these bugs, what they are. They're called Canadian soldiers, which basically are flying ants. They hover over by the lake. And what has happened with this hot, warm day, they have hatched early. They have come out. I've been told by Larry Parati, who's the security advisor here for the stadium, that they usually only last about a day or two. But a very big surprise because of the warm weather that we had today and yesterday in Cleveland. So the Canadian soldiers have marched their way into the stadium.
Ground ball to first. Johnny Damon foul.
Makes all the fly fishermen happy here around Lake Erie.
Yeah. So we'll see if Fausto Carmona can pitch through it. Damon, Jeter, Abreu, top 3 Yankee hitters in a 1-1 9th inning game. Ball to second. Close play. Damon retired by a step. 19 groundouts. Bases clear. Derek Jeter. He has the second of 2 Yankee hits. Melky Cabrera hit a homer. Jeter a leadoff single in the 4th, and that's the last Yankee hit tonight.
Oh, that's the last pitch that they've gotten. The base hit by Jeter. The last pitch that was really elevated. And he lined it up the middle for a base hit. And that Carmona's really been in control. Throwing that sinker, throwing that change, keeping the ball down. Getting a lot of ground balls.
Activity in both bullpens. Cleveland has the 2 Raphaels. Perez, the left-hander, Betancourt, the righty. Yankees have Mariano Rivera up. That was pitch number 100. And Jeter quickly down 2 strikes. We talked about Bob Feller earlier tonight. You think he'd appreciate this performance?
I think so.
Yeah, and that was one of the few pitches that he got up in the zone. Derek Jeter took a good swing at it, fouled it straight back.
The only mistake he made was a hanging breaking ball, a slider. After that, it's been sinker after sinker. And another one takes care of Jeter.
I was a little concerned about Carmona in that long bottom half of the 8th inning with all the bug delays and everything, but on top of his game here to Derek Jeter starts him with that hard sinker on the outside corner. Comes back inside with a foul ball right there. Tries to go away. That's the pitch he left up in the zone. Derek Jeter's best chance to get a hit, and then finishes him with a changeup down near the dirt.
So now the left-handed thumper Bobby Abreu's up. Abreu 0 for 3 and 1 for 5 in the series.
To get a guy working in as good a rhythm as Carmona has been all night. A lot of short innings, in and out, back and forth, back in that dugout. And he was in the dugout for a long time while his teammates were hitting. We saw a couple of bug spray delays and some base runners, some wild pitches. Ultimately, his team tied the ball game up, but you're always concerned late in a game, too much of a delay between pitches.
To short. Side saddle Peralta, long throw, not in time. So Abreu legs out an infield hit, and it brings up Alex Rodriguez with 2 men out in the 9th inning. And again, A-Rod looking for his first hit in this series.
Peralta very casual on that play. We saw Bobby Abreu beat out a ground ball to second base in his last at bat. Peralta really laid back, let that ball come to him, very casual in his backhanded play, and Bobby Abreu just legged it out to first baseline.
He doesn't have a whole lot of range, the Indians say, and their shortstop of the future might be playing second base. But the Indians will worry about that next year, as Alex Rodriguez now in for the Yankees. He has had a flair for the dramatic this year. The Yankees were down 6 runs in their last at bat with the Indians earlier this year, and A-Rod hit a game-winning home run against closer Joe Borowski. The Yankees would dearly love to see A-Rod give Mariano Rivera a 9th inning lead.
This is one of those situations, too, where Bobby Abreu could be looking to run, looking to get himself in scoring position here. He's got a pretty good-sized lead already.
And listen to this crowd. It's like an English Premier Soccer game. Let's go Fausto. Let's see if they start the chant again. One ball, one strike. Again, Angels, Red Sox to follow us from Fenway Park.
Chip, you mentioned A-Rod's flair for the dramatic this year. In the 9th inning, he's a .452 hitter with 8 home runs.
Running that fastball in, that sinker in, that's a tough pitch.
Pitch low, throw high. Winning run at second with 2 outs.
Abreu had his foot, first runner we've seen with his foot in the green on the 9-foot line. And he got a pretty good jump and was able to get himself into scoring position.
You see that lead out into the green area you're talking about, Tony, and with his speed, it's going to take a perfect throw to get him. Unfortunately for the Indians, Victor Martinez's throw to second base was high.
So here's a spot for A-Rod. You don't need the home run. A base hit figures to score Abreu. And he just broke his bat. Sawed him right off. April 19th. Yankees down in the bottom of the 9th inning. They score 6 to win. A-Rod off Joe Borowski. And it was the offensive heroics of Alex Rodriguez the first 2 months of the season that gave the Yankees a shot at catching the Red Sox, and they nearly did that. But all that matters little to the fans in New York if you don't get it done in October. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, tie game, 9th inning.
Got a hole to shoot at between first and second, and a ball that he could bounce maybe right to the left of second base.
Well, if A-Rod could come up with a base hit for the Yankees, Bobby Abreu is probably going to score on just about anything. He's getting a tremendous secondary lead. We've already seen his speed in this game. It's going to be tough to throw him out on a hit to the outfield.
If you don't get A-Rod, you have Matsui, then Posada, then Cano. Lefties and switch hit bats. Indians have Perez in the bullpen. He's the electric slider baller from the left side. This might be the man Carmona has to get. And look at the jump Abreu's getting from second base. He was halfway to third with the delivery of that pitch.
He's a very underrated player because base running right now, I mean, it's a clinic right now. You've got a tremendous lead at first, stall second. All those things managers talk about, secondary lead, bouncing off. He's doing those things. Base hit here, base hit to the outfield, they're not going to be able to throw him out.
Great battle here in the 9th inning for Alex Rodriguez. After looking so anxious and swinging and being retired early in the count, A-Rod has worked it full and has fought off 3 or 4 nasty pitches from Carmona.
Well, I really think it speaks to the confidence Eric Wedge has in his young pitcher that they're even pitching to A-Rod in this situation. This guy hit over 50 home runs, drove in over 150 on the season. You got a base open at first, would set up a force play anywhere in the infield to possibly get out of the inning, but they choose to go after A-Rod.
Well, in Cleveland, they know all about Fausto Carmona, but on the national stage, a star is born tonight. As we present our DHL MLB delivery man, we focus on Mariano Rivera, one of the great closers in the history of the game, on in a tie game to try to send to inning number 10 tonight.
Talk about postseason numbers. Look at his postseason numbers for his career. ERA less than 1. 0.80. The next closest guy is a guy by the name of Sandy Koufax. 0.95 in postseason. And so this time around, being asked to give him another shutout inning, give him another opportunity to win this game in the 10th.
You faced this guy.
Filthy. He's filthy too. Cutter. Still good lively fastball. And the first guy he's got to face is the guy who's been in the middle of everything really for Cleveland.
Lofton's been on base 3 more times tonight. 2 singles and a walk. He's 5 out of 6 with 4 RBIs. The most experienced Indians player in postseason facing the best closer in postseason history, and a cutter is spanked to center. 1 out. Mariano Rivera, not only a great man for the 9th inning, but in postseason play, 12 career 2-inning saves. He can't save this game, but he certainly could win it for New York. And Franklin Guerra is the man up next. In at the knees for a strike. Gutierrez has faced Rivera once in his career, and he has a hit. Indians tonight 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. 2 wild pitches, a hit batsman, a sacrifice, and a walk in the 8th off Jabba Chamberlain tied it up at 1.
Again, you talk about filthy. We talked about Carmona and his movement. Now, take a look at this pitch right here. And look at the swing. They're setting up right up under his knuckles, and that ball just kind of sinks. And Gutierrez goes over the top of that.
A 1-2 pitch, a fastball waved at and missed. So 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Casey Blake, the final Indians hope in the 9th.
Anything can happen, guys. We know that in the game of baseball. But if the Indians are counting on a home run against Mariano Rivera to win this ball game, their odds are definitely stacked against him. Rivera surrendered only 2 home runs in 113 innings of postseason work.
But you've got Mr. Shocker up there in Casey Blake. He's hit 2 game-winning homers this year. One against Kansas City and a huge one mid-September against the Tigers. Can he come through here?
One of those postseason home runs that Rivera surrendered was in the '97 Division Series, Game 4 right here at Jacobs Field. Sandy Alomar took him deep.
Towering fly ball center. Melky Cabrera is going to catch that. And we go to the 10th inning. A classic duel in Cleveland. 1-1 Yankees and the Tribe.
Sharp. The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Levi's, the original. Find your fit at Levi.com. By Baby Ruth from Nestle. Savor the good stuff of the official candy bar of Major League Baseball. By Avis, we try harder. And by Zantac. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac.
Extra innings in Cleveland. Game 2 of the American League Division Series presented by Budweiser. Jacobs Field rocking all night long. Just 3 Yankees hits. They've finally been able to wave goodbye to Fausto Carmona, who went 9 innings tonight with 5 strikeouts. The only run he allowed was a homer. And the Indians into their bullpen with the first of their 2 flame-throwing Rafaels. It's lefty Rafael Perez on for the 2nd time in this series. He pitched 2 innings in game 1. And in fact, the Cleveland bullpen in the first game of this series was electric. 4 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 6 strikeouts. And it's going to be Hideki Matsui to start it off.
Just can't say enough about how well Carmona threw tonight. I mean, phew. Made one mistake. And really never really got into any trouble. I mean, yeah, maybe the last inning with Abreu on second base and A-Rod at the plate, but he pitched extremely well.
Matsui, a big swing and a miss. A dangerous hitter. 8 home runs this year against left-handed pitching in regular season play. Went 0 for 4. Most of that against CC Sabathia, last night's Cleveland starter. And the Yankees, a very left-handed offensive club. That's why Perez, the first man out of the chute here. Posada switch hits, then Cano, a lefty.
I'll tell you, not only Carmona, Tony, but you really have to give Andy Pettitte his props for what he did in this ball game tonight. Mariano Rivera, we know what he's capable of doing and what he has done already in this ball game. Jabba Chamberlain had that bug-infested inning when things kind of came apart a little bit, but what a tremendous pitching performances on both sides of the field tonight.
Absolutely.
And both teams needed them in a game of this importance. Everyone always focuses on what happens in game 1. Game 2's probably the much bigger of the pair. Popped him up. Right in the middle of the diamond. Who's going to take over? It'll be Casey Blake. 1 out. Importance of this game self-evident. Cleveland wins it. They go to New York, knowing if everything goes the Yankees' way, they still have a game 5 here. If they win game 2, they go to New York with a chance to end the series in game 3. Yankees, if they win and even the series, can go back to New York and win 2 more, would end the Indians' year. So here's Posada. He'll turn around and bat right-handed. He hit to a double play in the 2nd, walked in the 5th, and lined out to center. A sprawling catch by Grady Sizemore, who's playing in Akron. Look how far he is away in center field.
I think the Indians are playing what we call no doubles right now, not letting the ball get over their head, keeping everything in front. At the bottom 3rd of the lineup coming up here for the Yankees, and so keep everything in front of you and keep the double play in order.
Posada didn't think so.
Sinker.
He'd want that pitch for his pitcher.
Yeah, he would.
But as a hitter, it doesn't mean you have to like it.
And that's the dicey proposition for a catcher. You can't complain too much. One ball, 2 strikes.
It'd be interesting to see if Posada is able to reach base, if Joe Torre would pinch run for him. He mentioned that Posada was one of the guys late in the ball game, if he needed a run, that he would run for.
Fly to right. Gutierrez drifting back, shy of the right field wall. That's why you play deep. 2 are out. Well struck ball, but Gutierrez positioned perfectly.
Todd has had 2 great at-bats here. A line drive that Sizemore dove for his center field, and that ball he hit right on the button, taking Gutierrez to the wall and right. Had nothing to show for it.
Big old hang with him.
Robinson Cano, the last Yankee hope in the 10th, in the bottom of the 10th inning. Sizemore, Cabrera, Hafner coming up for the Indians. And will Mariano Rivera pitch a second frame? Broken bat popped up. Peralta at short behind the bag. Perez dazzles again. The Indians bullpen magnificent. Can the Tribe win it in the 10th? We'll find out in a moment. Here's your game summary as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. It started well for the Yankees. Joe Torre said Melky Cabrera's got to get going, and get going he did. A solo home run for a 1-0 Yankee lead. And guys, Andy Pettitte made it stand up. Joe Torre happy to have him pitching game 2. He was dazzling. Pettitte tired in the 7th inning. Joba Chamberlain came on. 2 wild pitches, a walk, and a hit batsman. Ties the game as Grady Sizemore came home for a 1-1 score. And Fausto Carmona, 9 innings for the Indians. Kept it at 1.
Good job. And here we are, extra innings.
The story indeed, the starters.
Yeah, for Carmona, you see the 2 base on balls. Both of those runners were eliminated on double plays.
Wow. So the top of the Cleveland order up in the bottom of the 10th inning. Grady Sizemore on base 3 times in 4 trips. We'll start it off. The Indians have left 8 men on base, 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. But all will be forgiven if they can win it in the 10th. Buries that slider down and in. The pitching has been dominant. You want October baseball? Both teams offensively combined at the moment 2 for their last 34 at the plate.
Really, both of these teams showing you why they're here. They're pitching. Andy Pettitte, super for the Yankees. Carmona, super for the Indians. Not much offense. Not many opportunities. Cleveland's probably had the better opportunities to score. But Andy Pettitte made some great pitches to keep him out of trouble.
Just a little high.
This is one they call a zoom ball.
Wow. Done. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It did change the eye level of Grady Sizemore. That's usually what that pitch is intended to do.
Exactly.
And out defensively for New York, like the Indians, they're playing very deep in the outfield. Minkiewicz right atop the first base line. A-Rod about 3 steps off the third base line. Swing, broken bat, fly ball, long run. Can anybody get there? It is foul. And no play.
You see what the Indians have done this year. 44 come from behind wins, including 23 in their last at bat. 4 walk-off home runs on the season. We mentioned the fact that Rivera doesn't give up a lot of home runs in the postseason. And he has never allowed a home run to a left-handed hitter in his postseason career.
That's because of that cutter.
Yep. Well, you really have to make not only a mental adjustment, but a physical adjustment, I think, against Rivera.
Yep.
2-2 count. Slap down the left field line. No play for Johnny Damon. And that physical adjustment is what?
Well, I think back to Game 7 of the World Series in '01. Mark Grace is a guy that always chokes up on the bat. He choked up a little bit more than normal. Luis Gonzalez, who had the game-winning hit, is a guy who never choked up on the bat. He got up off the knob for that final at-bat of the '01 World Series. Tony Womack, another slap hitter, choked way up on the bat. You have to make some kind of adjustment because that cutter is going to come right in on your knuckles. Like that.
And just swinging the bat, normally you're not going to be able to get the barrel head to that baseball. And so you're going to have to shorten your stroke up and try to figure out, how to get that barrel to the baseball.
And you have to convince yourself to do that because your eyes tell you that's a straight fastball. The rotation on that pitch looks very much like a four-seam fastball, but has that boring action inside on those left-handed hitters. Your eyes tell you one thing, but your experience should tell you what you need to do.
Sizemore is choked up just a bit. Fisted back toward us.
It looks like he's taking a pretty good hack at that, but he's not getting the barrel to that baseball. He broke his bat on the foul ball down the line, and it's just really hard to square a ball up and get the barrel to the baseball. Now, if Mariano hangs something out over the plate, then okay, maybe you're going to have a chance, but this is a quick breaking pitch. It isn't.
Down the right field line. And foul. Well, you remember, I know you remember the game-winning hit in the World Series. Wasn't hit hard. Infield was drawn in. That was the big key to that game-winning hit from Luis Gonzalez. So you don't have to hit it hard, but you do have to hit it. And therein lies the difficulty.
Well, and with Sizemore's speed, if he happens to get jammed and hit a little dribble on the ground, he might beat that out for an infield hit.
And one at bat here in the 10th.
The Yankees are playing deep all the way around right now with a 2-strike count. It's not unusual to see Rivera get way in the kitchen and break that bat and see that little swinging bunt just roll out into the infield somewhere.
Sizemore looking for his first career hit against Mariano Rivera. And he'll face a 12th pitch and a full count. And the last thing the Yankees want is to put Sizemore on with a walk. Left side, will it stay in play for Rodriguez? Near the stands, diving try, and he cannot come up.
That was probably the best pitch Sizemore's had to hit in the sequence. That was up and out over the plate a little bit, just tardy. And we'll see the location of this when Posada wants it down and in. That pitch is center cut, belt high out over the plate.
Rivera lives to throw another 3-2 pitch. And it swung on and missed. Sizemore didn't pick up the ball. High throw, collision at first. Sizemore didn't realize the ball was dropped. And a little wide turn at first to make the throw from Posada tougher. It sailed, a collision, and Sizemore's aboard a huge Indians break.
Well, once again, speed makes its presence felt. Posada thought he had plenty of time to get Sizemore. He realized Grady didn't break out of the box immediately. Kind of winds up here casually, throws that ball down to first base, rushed it at the end. causing him to throw that ball high to Midkevich at first.
Sizemore didn't realize that the ball got away from Posada right away. You're right, he had plenty of time.
So, guys, in the 8th inning, a wild pitch proved to be the huge offensive play for the Indians. A strikeout wild pitch could be huge in the 10th. Here's Cabrera, runner at first, showing bunt. Drags it down the first base line, a beauty. Sacrifice. Indians played big ball last night. 3rd sacrifice tonight. And again, for the 3rd time in as many at-bats, Travis Hafner a chance. By the way, it wasn't a wild pitch, but a passed ball now officially on that very high pitch from Mariano Rivera. So runner at second, 1 out, 10th inning.
Tough pass ball for Posada. I know from experience on that high pitch, especially with late movement and the batter swings, sometimes you lose sight of the baseball momentarily.
Outfield in right with Abreu, shortens up just a bit with Hafner up. Sizemore runs very well on a rocket hit to Abreu. He's got a charge to try to slow down Sizemore, who will come chugging around. Cabrera's already thrown out 1 man in this game, had 16 outfield assists in regular season play. Damon, the weakest arm in left.
Again, that cutter. It is such a tough pitch. Well, it just looked like it sailed in on Hafner's hands.
No balls, 2 strikes for Hafner.
You mentioned the outfield arms. I think Johnny Damon's playing a little too deep out there in left field. Hafner doesn't really drive the ball the opposite way that often. Johnny Damon with the weakest throwing arm for the Yankees. I don't think he'd be able to throw Sizemore out on a base hit to left field.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Now 2-2.
Pretty much everybody playing straight away.
Ground ball right side will get a man to third. So 2 are out.
There's a sequence to Travis Hafner. First pitch is a little cutter on the inside. Now watch the movement on that one. That one's late breaking under his hands. Waste 1 upstairs. Tries the back door to cutter. And again, even though it's on the plate, it's got such late movement, he's able to jam after and get a ground ball. And so now Mariano 1 out away from getting out of the inning.
They can't pitch to Victor Martinez here with the right-handed bat of Ryan Garco next, and that's exactly what will happen. They'll walk him. And remember now, with men at the corners, it was Sizemore in the 8th inning that came home on the job of Chamberlain. Wild pitch to tie this game at 1. How fitting would it be for the Indians, who have struggled so mightily with runners in scoring position, to score the winning run without benefit of a hit.
I think this is more of a case of who the hitter is, not necessarily the fact Victor Martinez is a left-handed hitter, because as Rivera has shown throughout his career, he can handle left-handers, running that cutter in on their fist, throwing it to the back door. But Victor Martinez is the guy in this Indians lineup. I'm sure the Yankees have said, we don't want to let this guy beat us, so take the bat right out of his hands.
So first and third now, and 2 out. Remember, if Posada had been able to catch that high fastball that Sizemore missed, this inning would be over. First and third in a 1-1 10th inning game. Garco 0 for 3. One ball, no strikes.
Absolutely no concern for Victor Martinez down there at first base. His run means absolutely nothing at this point. Mitkevich playing way back at first base.
Chopper foul. There's one school of thought that says tell that base runner to go ahead and try to take that base. Takes away a force play on a chopper. On a cut fastball, perhaps.
I think if it was anybody but Victor Martinez, we probably would see a break for second base. But even with the first baseman playing 30 feet behind him, Martinez probably can't get enough of a jump to outrun the throw to second base.
One ball, one strike. It hit him on the left elbow. And now Mariano Rivera is saying he stuck the elbow in, didn't try to get out of the way. And the Indians have him loaded. Joe Torre can't believe what he's seen from Jabba Chamberlain and now Mariano Rivera. Bases are loaded with 2 out.
It didn't look like he tried to get out of the way of that to me. That elbow starts on that plane and it just kind of stays right there. Ricochets off the armor. You see Mariano Rivera asking, did he try to get out of the way of that?
So in the last 2 innings and 2/3 for the Yankees bullpen. 3 walks, 1 of them intentional, 2 hit batsmen, 2 wild pitches, a swinging strikeout that was dropped. And now the bases are loaded for Peralta. A jam sandwich, no balls in a strike. Peralta 1 for 5 lifetime against Mariano Rivera. No place to put him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, the dropped 3rd strike. Tough play. But after that play, the inning should be over. It's not.
Running that fastball in on right-handed hitters. He did it on Garco, coming right back and showing no fear. Just running that ball in on Peralta's hands.
That's something that Rivera didn't used to do earlier in his career. He was strictly cutter, an occasional breaking ball, but he's starting to throw some of those 2-seamers that work back inside to the right-handers.
Struck him out, and we go to the 11th. The Indians have had every opportunity all night long, and we remain tied at 1.
This is Ernie Johnson in Atlanta to update you on what's going on in Boston. They are in the bottom half of the first inning, and Dustin Pedroia, you see, grounding out for the Red Sox. The Angels did get runners at the corners in the top half, but did not score against Daisuke Matsuzaka. So that's the situation on TNT. Meantime, on TBS, Yankees and Indians in a game that could be headlined, Canadian soldiers invade America's pastime. Back to you, Chip.
You're right about that. And they might be termites, too, especially for Cleveland's bats with men on base, Bob and Tony. 1 for 16 is Cleveland so far tonight with men in scoring position. They've left 11 on base in a 1-1 game.
It's easy to point the finger at the offense and say you guys aren't getting the job done, but you also have to take a big look out there on that pitcher's mound both ways tonight. Both pitching staffs have just been outstanding, something that you rarely see in the game nowadays.
So 11th inning. And Melky Cabrera in the 3rd inning accounted for the only New York run.
Now, the offensive highlights in last night's game took about 15 minutes to show you that's pretty much been it today as far as swinging the bats and generating some offense.
Well, the Yankees have scored 4 runs in the series on 3 solo home runs. And Cabrera now batting right-handed. Takes a Perez strike. He's on for another 2-inning stint after going 2 last night. Cabrera, Mintkevich scheduled, then Johnny Damon. There is activity in the Cleveland pen should Perez have any trouble. Remember, he was a starting pitcher. So if he's able to work the 11th inning with ease and the Indians don't score, they might bring him back for a 3rd inning of work. We'll see. Popped up. Long run. Gutierrez playing deeply, but he's got that one measured up. One man out. As you heard EJ say a moment ago, Angels and Red Sox will be coming your way here on TBS at the conclusion of our game. If you are interested in that ball game, it is being aired in its entirety on our sister network TNT. So make sure the batteries in the clicker are working, fully charged, and flip back and forth. As you see, the Red Sox won game 1 4-0 behind Josh Beckett. And now Mintkevich will be taken down. Looks like Shelley Duncan's going to get the call. Duncan came on in the 5th inning yesterday and scored a pinch hit single. So Duncan in the 11th.
Shelley Duncan 0 for 5 during the regular season as a pinch hitter, something that you don't see a lot of in the American League. There occasionally will be a platoon at a position where you'll see a pinch hitter, but Joe Torre reaching into his bench. Fine job tonight by Doug Mintkevich with that bum ankle. Made some great defensive plays in this game, and that's why he's in the lineup.
So here's Duncan. Yankees looking for a home run from this kid. Quick strike. He hit 3 homers in his first 3 games, or first 3 days in the major leagues. Dave Kingman the last to do that back in 1971 with the Giants. And most of Duncan's damage against left-handed pitching. Home run cut, but quickly 0-2.
All these relievers for the Indians, that's all they've done is come out of the bullpen and throw strikes. There's last night and tonight. Betancourt last night. There's a lot of people in the house who can't watch.
That's what managers want to do sometimes. Put your head down and don't look.
Into the Cleveland dugout. No balls, 2 strikes.
Shelley Duncan had 7 home runs and only 74 at bats during the regular season. My math is not great, but that's about 1 every 10 ABs. A very similar pace, maybe even a little better than A-Rod with his 53 homers this year in 583 at-bats.
Does great pitching get out great hitting? It has in this series.
Perez took a little bit off of that, got it up. Duncan was out in front, fouled it off. Here's a look at Shelley Duncan. You see where contact is made out in front. A little slippage right there. Cleveland's pitchers have been outstanding, starting out, getting ahead of these Yankee hitters.
Duncan looked at a breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There is hardly an empty seat. 44,732 the crowd for Game 2. Game 3 Sunday night at Yankee Stadium. Missed high. 2-2. Probable starters for Game 3. Jake Westbrook, Roger Clemens. Paul Byrd pitches Game 4 if we get there. Yankees have not yet announced their Game 4 starter. Ground ball deep short. Peralta, long run. Long throw. Duncan out by a step. He didn't take his time getting to that ball, did he?
He got to it quickly. Put a little extra on the throw.
Well, you live and you learn. After Bobby Abreu legged one out very similar to this, Peralta gets to it a lot quicker this time, unloads it a lot quicker.
So it's up to Johnny Damon in the 11th. He led off Game 1 with a homer. 0 for 7 since. And he's gotten the ball out of the infield twice. Foul for a strike.
Johnny Damon led off the ball game last night with that home run to right field, that disputed home run initially down the right field line, and after that the Indians have just stayed away, away, away. Every pitch from the plate away.
Missed upstairs. Just past 9 o'clock Eastern time.
He didn't look that nervous when he was on the mound.
No.
Sure didn't.
Of course, when he was on the mound, he had some control of the situation. Right now, he's just a spectator.
Late swing, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mariano Rivera has earplugs.
What?
I don't blame him. Did he go? He did. 3 up, 3 down again for Perez. 4 scoreless innings in the last of the 11th. Great baseball night in Cleveland. Tribe trying to extend their series lead to 2 games to none. ALDS Game 2 presented by Budweiser. Bob Brenly, Tony Gwynn, Chip Carey. Now the Yankees have to take Mariano Rivera out of the ball game. 2 scoreless innings, and Luis Vizcaíno now on.
Well, if you're the Indians, you have to feel this is a huge break. I mean, starting with Andy Pettitte, Jabba Chamberlain, a little rough in his outing today, but Mariano Rivera, anytime you get him out of the ball game, you feel like you've got a much better chance to score.
No question. And you've had some opportunities tonight, and the pitching has been tough for the Yankees, and you haven't been able to put anything on the board. There's a golden opportunity. You don't have to worry about those guys anymore. Now you got to try to figure out a way to put a run on the board and get yourself a 2-game-to-none lead.
And it starts with the spark plug for the Indians hitting in the 7th spot. That's Kenny Lofton. As you look at Shelley Duncan takes over at first for Doug Minkiewicz. We'll see if Lofton thinks about a bunt perhaps and tries to put Shelley Duncan into play. Minkiewicz, a great defensive first baseman, but out of the game as you look at Vizcaíno. Lots of walks for the veteran right-hander. And the first to Lofton, well off the plate. Lofton tonight, 2 hits, a walk, and a fly out to center. Also made the 3rd out at third base in the 5th inning when Pettitte picked him off. Ball 2.
Lofton, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to make him work.
Borderline pitch right there. Looked like it might have caught the knees. And according to pitch tracks, right on the edge of the zone.
Vizcaíno wanted that pitch.
Three straight. Franklin Gutierrez would be next. Then Casey Blake, who's 3 for 7 against Vizcaíno lifetime. He's hitting 3rd in this inning. Lofton, a former Yankee, would love to punish the pinstripes. And he's got a chance. A 4-pitch walk in the 11th inning.
Mentioned the possibility of a stolen base here. Eric Wedge may choose to go to the sack bunt. Vizcaíno, when he's been on the mound, base stealers are 5 for 7 against him.
Eight of 11 first batters have reached for the Cleveland offense in this game. Now they've bunted a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to bunt again. Gutierrez has put down 5 successful sacrifices this year, which is a lot for an American League player.
Pretty good lead by Lofton. Vizcaíno not nearly the pickoff move that Andy Pettitte has.
And with that in mind, you may see Lofton get way out into that green zone.
You want him to get a pretty big lead because he knows he's not going here. You know that Gutierrez is looking to sacrifice. He tied in Major League history with Ricky Henderson. That leads. He's working that right foot towards that green arrow.
Bobby, Major League average, glove to glove.
Pitcher's release time at 1.3 seconds. Above that, you think you can run on the pitcher. Below that, it depends on the catcher's arm. Catcher's release time, 2 seconds flat is considered good. Anything under that is exceptional.
First pitch to Gutierrez with Lofton a short lead. He is bunting, and it's popped up out of play. The point you made earlier. Bunting is one thing. Bunting for bunting's sake is another. And asking guys who may not bunt well to do it in a close game is another issue the manager has to sort out.
Also bunting in obvious bunt situations. You saw A-Rod way down the line at third base. Vizcaíno will be charging in from the mound. After holding on the runner at first, Shelley Duncan will get a late break in from first base. So ideally, if he does bunt, you want to put this ball down the first base side.
1 strike, 1-1, inning number 11. tapped foul behind the plate. And so now with 2 strikes, do you keep the bunt on here?
I think A-Rod charged really quickly that time. Forced Gutierrez to try to get that bunt down on the first base side like you were talking about.
Well, the 2 foul bunts, what that does, it puts the Yankees in a count here where they could pitch out if they think Kenny Lofton may be trying to steal the base now that the sack has not been successful. Got a couple of pitches to play with right here. Of course, the wild card in that equation is with Vizcaino's lack of command, do you really want to pitch out a couple times and put him in a situation where he may end up walking the hitter at the plate?
Blake, the man that's hit him hardest, on deck. Then the top of the order lurking for the Indians. Good lead by Lofton. And again back standing.
This is a stage of the game where everything gets magnified. Man, how many times you throw it first, you know, all those things.
Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, the Yankees have dropped game 1 of their last 5 division series games. They've come back to win those series. Much easier to do, obviously, 1-1 than 0-2. Franklin Gutierrez stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's not looking to bunt anymore. He's just looking to stay alive now. And so, Kenny Lofton feels like he can get a jump. He's going to be okay to go.
The Indians have out hit the Yankees 7-3. They scored the game-tying run on a wild pitch.
Lofton with that big lead at first looks like he could get another step or 2 down there, even though he's getting out there very near that green arrow. He's been getting back easily on the pickoff attempts from Vizcaino.
The difference between him and a Braves lead is Lofton's kind of behind the bag.
Hard hit ball, base hit. Gutierrez was down 2 strikes, couldn't get down a bunt, and now the Indians have 2 on, nobody out.
It's a nice job of hitting by Gutierrez. He couldn't get the bunt down. Waited to get a pitch that he could handle. That ball stays right in the middle of the plate, and he just hits it in the hole between short and third. You see him out in front. See that top hand starting to roll over, and just hits it in the perfect spot between short and third. And now the Indians have something go.
The Indians went 20 plate appearances between hits. And now, again, it's all right there for him. 2 on, nobody out.
And another guy at the plate who's put down 5 successful sacrifice bunts this year. See which way Eric Wedge plays it this time. I have to believe he's bunting.
He did. Deadens it beautifully. Only 1 play.
Well, here it goes. You probably walk Sizemore right here to load the bases. Have to bring everybody in to face Cabrera.
And yes, this might be an American League record for most sacrifices in one game.
Can't get the smile off your face.
It's great.
Just like we talk about, though, it's about execution, too. And the Indians have had some golden opportunities to drive home a run, and they just haven't been able to get it done. But right here in this inning, they've executed very well, and now have put themselves in a position where they can possibly win this game. See the Indians, Yankees making a switch here and taking Johnny Damon out of the game.
So Bronson Sardinia's into play left. Damon's out of the game. They will intentionally walk Sizemore here. And the bases will be loaded with only one out. There's ball 2. Got to keep an eye on Lofton just in case Vizcaíno flings one out of the reach of Posada. He'll come scampering home. So 2-1 in the 11th, a single. And they're loaded. Here comes Joe Torre. What kind of defense will Joe Torre put together here?
I think it's a tougher decision when you have Mariano Rivera on the mound, whether to play the infield in or play back for the double play, because he jams so many hitters. But I think with Vizcaíno, they're going to bring everybody in. At least I think that's what he should do. Bring everybody in, try to cut off that run at home plate. Cabrera does not ground into many double plays, only 7 all season. He's got good speed, especially out of the left-handed batter's box.
So aerial coverage provided to you by Goodyear. Get home in comfort with Goodyear's silent armor technology. 1-1 in the 11th. Cleveland trying to take a 2-0 lead.
I agree. I think they're going to try to cut this run off at the plate.
Asdrubal Cabrera. 0 for 3. You see he's bunted twice. Infield in for the Yankees. Little league depth in the outfield. And foul for a strike. Duncan well off the line at first. The last American League team with 4 sacrifice bunts in a postseason game. Oakland at Los Angeles, October 12th, 1974 in the World Series. One strike. A little ground ball, foul, and 0-2. So Cabrera trying to make contact. The danger here for the Indians, again, if he makes out, bases loaded, 2 outs, everybody can back up to normal depth here.
But this guy, gone 2 straight pitches with something off speed. Cabrera out in front of both of them.
Lofton at third. Gutierrez at second. Sizemore at first. Good stop, Posada. 2 balls, 2 strikes. tripped him up. Infield fly. And again, the Indians fail to capitalize with 1 out. Now they're loaded with 2 outs. And for the 4th time in as many at-bats, Travis Hafner a chance to win the game.
Obviously, the worst possible scenario for the Indians was ground into a double play. He got a pretty good pitch to hit right there. Got out in front of it a little bit. Got under the ball. High pop up to the shallow right side of the infield.
Vizcaino did a great job there throwing that off-speed pitch for a strike. There he had Cabrera way out in front.
After in the 8th inning hit a rocket to Minkiewicz. Then in the 10th inning, with a runner in scoring position, grounded out to second. He also struck out in the 6th inning after Grady Sizemore had tripled to lead off the inning. That strikeout came with 1 out. So again, it's all there for Cleveland. Team that hit everything last night has not been able to come up with a big hit yet tonight. There's a good start for the Indians. 1 ball, no strikes.
The Indians have left 11 guys on base, and like we've talked about, had all kind of opportunities. Bases loaded here, 1 out. You know, bases loaded, 2 outs.
And none better than the opportunity they just had with Cabrera at the plate. You had the infield drawn in, the outfield drawn in.
Who's going to be the hero? Who's going to be the guy to step up there and get it done?
Eric Wedge said Hafner's walk in the 1st inning yesterday, the biggest at bat of the game. What can he do in the 11th inning? He was thinking about a home run. He's hit 9 grand slams the last 4 years. All he needs is a single or a walk or a hit by pitch, and on we go.
It's almost as if the more tension there is, the softer Vizcaino goes. You know these hitters are amped. You know they're looking for something in the middle of the plate, and he's going off speed, and the Indian hitters are out in front.
Just missed the corner with an off-speed pitch. Good call, Tony. 2 balls and a strike.
And so these Indian hitters almost have to take a deep breath and trust what their eyes see instead of trying to anticipate what they think they might get. And then Cabrera did that on the off-speed. He was way out in front of the changeups. And here Vizcaino doing the same thing. Hafner swung through a changeup.
Two balls, 1 strike.
That's what those off-speed pitches early in the sequence will do. It'll make you be tardy on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball up and out over the plate.
Looks like it was just the one you'd be looking for.
And Vizcaino missed his location by about 2 feet, but had enough giddy up on that fastball to get it by Hafner.
Bases loaded. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch of decision.
There was a Hafner walk in the ballgame last night that Eric Wedge said was the biggest AB for the Indians. Could it happen again here in the bottom of the 11th? I don't even think Posada's going to give a sign here. I think he went out there to verbally tell Vizcaino what pitch he wants him to throw and where he wants him to throw it. Don't take a risk of any stolen signs or locations from second base.
And this crowd will tell you the story. 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded, tie game. At long last, the Indians finally get a hit with men in scoring position. A seed hit by Travis Hafner, a no-doubter into the right center field gap. And the Cleveland Indians have a 2-0 series lead with an 11th inning rocket.
Hafner finally made up his mind to cut down on his swing a little bit, just make solid contact. Clean line drive into the gap in right center field, driving home Kenny Lofton.
He backed that ball up. Beautiful swing. He knew right away. Wanted to make sure he touched first base.
And Travis Hafner, the game-winning RBI, our Chevrolet player of the game, and that says it all. Craig?
Well, Travis, you've got to just sit out here and look at this crowd and just enjoy the moment. But I have to ask you, take me through that last at bat.
You know, bases are loaded. You know, if you get a hit, you're going to win the game. So threw me a couple of change-ups, swung and missed at the one. And then 3-2. I thought he'd throw a fastball, but he threw a changeup. I was expecting one or the other. I was able to stay back on and put a good swing and hit a line drive through the middle.
Game one, you win in a slugfest, 12-3. A tremendous pitching duel tonight. Talk about Fasto Carmona and the job he did to keep you guys in this game.
Fasto was unbelievable. He's been great all year, but to come out here and pitch a game like that against the Yankees, go 9 innings and 1 run, I mean, he was spectacular.
You had other times to drive in runs. So many times here, the last 3 at-bats, you hit a rope that one time, and then Gavich made a great play on. How difficult was it to play in a game like this?
This is why you play the game right here. I mean, I want to play every game in the postseason. This is just awesome atmosphere. This is why you play right here, to be in this game.
Especially with winning like this for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you, Chip.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. That's Travis Hafner, our Chevy player of the game. For his outstanding play, Chevy donates $1,000 to Major League Baseball's youth baseball charities, Chevy and American Revolution. 2-1, Indians in 11, a 2-0 series lead. We'll see us Sunday night in New York. For Tony Gwynn, Bob Brenly, Craig Sager, and our crew, Chip Carey saying good night from Cleveland. We send you now to Ted Robinson, standing by with Steve Stone at Fenway Park with the Red Sox and the Angels. Good night, everybody.
All right, Chip and Tony and Bob, thank you very much, and we welcome all of you now to Fenway Park in Boston, where this ain't game one anymore. A totally different start to game two. The Angels have just scored 3 runs here, still batting with Vladimir Guerrero at the plate in the 2nd inning. And Guerrero with a ground ball to Dustin Pedroia will make the play on. But the Angels scored 3 runs, 2 of them on 2-out hits on Daisuke Matsuzaka. It feels like June at Fenway Park tonight. The temperature in the 70s at 9:38 in the evening in Boston. But it's not like game one, Steve Stone. The pitchers are not in command like they were.
Well, now it's up to Escobar to hold the lead. The Angels have the first lead of the series. Now he's got to have a shutdown inning and turn it over to the offense.
And Escobar in the first inning walked 2 men. And then a 2-out, 2-run single from J.D. Drew got Boston their runs in the bottom of the first. The Angels coming back with 3 in the top of the second. And they got a pair of 2-out RBI hits from Figgins and Cabrera. Now Coco Crisp. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to the Red Sox center fielder. Drove in 60 runs this year. The Red Sox have pretty good pop at the bottom of their lineup. Not home run pop, I should say, but more run production pop.
Well, they've got good speed at the bottom of the order, and Crisp is at 357 lifetime against Escobar.
5 out of 14, and that's one of the oddities in tonight's lineup for the Red Sox. The 7, 8, 9 men, Veritek, Crisp, and Lugo, are the ones who have success against Escobar. The big guys, Ortiz and Ramirez, not so much.
I'm talking with Terry Francona. He said, I don't care what Crisp hits. The fact that he can play center field as well as anybody in this league means that he's going to be in center field. And I think for the Red Sox, they breathe a sigh of relief when they look over in the on-deck circle and they see Pedroia.
Yep, there's Pedroia, who looked like he jammed his left shoulder diving for a ground ball in the top half of the inning. And Crisp goes down swinging. First strikeout for Escobar. Kelvin Escobar, an 18-game winner for the Angels this year. For more on Kelvin, let's go to Jose Mota.
Very special evening and an outing for Kelvin Escobar because about 400 youngsters are meeting in La Sabana outside La Guaira, Venezuela, members of the Kelvin Escobar School of Baseball. He provides everything they need throughout the year, baseball-wise and financially. And he says, I do this because I want them to follow their dream. Back to you.
Yeah, and Escobar is, as so many Venezuelans have found out, it's a country that's produced great shortstops. We know so many of them. And here's a guy who's become a leader and a great role model in his country as a pitcher. Played for the Toronto Blue Jays. That was his original team. And now his 4th year with the Angels.
Well, he said he learned a whole lot when he was with the Blue Jays because he was there with Roger Clemens and David Wells and Pat Henkin and Juan Guzman. And he said as a young pitcher from 97 to 2003, those guys taught him a lot of lessons on what to do and what not to do on the mound.
Mike Butcher, the pitching coach for the Angels, told me the other day, he said, and that's Butcher behind Mike Scioscia, he said, this year, Escobar